Chapter 1249. Bailey Hongzhuang wrapped the hemp rope around her waist. After confirming that it was secure, everyone pulled the other end of the hemp rope while Bailey Hongzhuang climbed up the cliff. The cliff was indeed difficult to support. Bailey Hongzhuang grabbed the rocks on the cliff with both hands and slowly approached the blood ginseng fruit. The closer she got to the blood ginseng fruit, the stronger the medicinal fragrance became. Bailey Hongzhuang's every movement was soul-stirring. Her body was like a bottomless abyss, white and misty. It was impossible to know how deep it was. Gong Shaoqing and the others held the hemp rope tightly. Their eyes were filled with worry and nervousness. They were afraid that something would go wrong. Fortunately, Bailey Hongzhuang's every move was cautious and careful. Even in such a dangerous situation, Bailey Hongzhuang was still very calm. Step by step, she was not anxious. Finally, Bailey Hongzhuang successfully came to the side of the blood ginseng fruit. A smile appeared on everyone's faces when they saw this scene. When Hongzhuang could successfully pick the blood ginseng fruit, they only needed to pull Hongzhuang up. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the blood ginseng fruit tree in front of her. It was a very old blood ginseng fruit tree. There were 5 blood ginseng fruits on it. If it was a young blood ginseng fruit tree, it would be impossible to grow so many blood ginseng fruits. Their luck today was really good. Soon, Bailey Hongzhuang plucked the 5 blood ginseng fruits from the blood ginseng fruit tree. As for the blood ginseng fruit tree, Bailey Hongzhuang thought for a moment and decided not to take it with her. After all, besides the cliff, the blood ginseng fruit tree could not be stored anywhere else. Then, Bailey Hongzhuang said to Gong Shaoqing and the others, "Okay, pull me up." Gong Shaoqing and the others nodded and immediately began to pull Bailey Hongzhuang. However, at this moment, a rough and fierce roar suddenly sounded from behind Gong Shaoqing and the others. Rumble. A huge sound came from a distance. It was extremely fast and in the blink of an eye, it came from a distance to Gong Shaoqing and the others. When Gong Shaoqing and the others saw the situation behind them, they could not help but take a breath. Heavenly Spirit Bear. Gong Shaoqing looked at the heavenly bear that suddenly appeared in horror. The strength of the heavenly spirit bear was equivalent to a rank 5 Orange Realm monster beast. They did not expect that they would encounter a heavenly spirit bear here. The heavenly spirit bear's eyes were bloodshot, and after seeing Gong Shaoqing's actions, it charged towards Gong Shaoqing like a madman. When Xia Jiqing and the others saw the sudden appearance of the heavenly spirit bear, they were dumbfounded. Such a powerful monster beast, they were not its opponent at all. Dongfang Yu, we will stop the heavenly spirit bear now. Jun Yu, quickly pull Hongzhuang up. Gong Shaoqing quickly said. In the blink of an eye, the moment the heavenly spirit bear rushed over, Gong Shaoqing also rushed towards the heavenly spirit bear with his weapon. In such a critical moment, he had no choice but to do this. Behind them was a cliff. Once the heavenly spirit bear rushed over, all of them would fall into the cliff and be doomed. Dongfang Yu's reaction was also very fast. After listening to Gong Shaoqing's words, he immediately took out his weapon and attacked together with Gong Shaoqing. The heavenly spirit bear saw that the 2 humans dared to attack it. Its blood-red eyes flashed with a fierce light and it slammed its claws directly. Chapter 1250. Boom. Although Gong Shaoqing's reaction speed was extremely fast, the heavenly spirit bear's claw was completely crushing. Boom. Gong Shaoqing's body fell heavily to the ground. The huge power of the heavenly spirit bear was simply irresistible. Even if he had tried his best to resist, the power was still transmitted to his body, and his internal organs were in severe pain. After the heavenly spirit bear slapped Gong Shaoqing, it rushed to Xia Jiqing and the others at the edge of the cliff. Damn it! The heavenly spirit bear's mood could be said to be extremely depressed. It had guarded the blood ginseng fruit for so long, and it had finally matured, but now it was taken away by a group of guys. This was something it absolutely could not tolerate. Dongfang Yu also went up, but he could not block the heavenly spirit bear's slap. His body fell heavily to the ground, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The gap between the red realm and the yellow realm was too big. Coupled with the terrifying power of the heavenly spirit bear, he was simply not the opponent of the heavenly spirit bear. The three beasts looked at each other, and their faces were all covered with a dignified color. This heavenly spirit bear should be the guardian beast of the blood ginseng fruit. I didn't see the guardian beast before, so it was here. Xiao Hei's eyes flashed with a complicated and puzzled light. Generally, there would be a contract beast guarding the heavenly treasure. For a treasure like the blood ginseng fruit, there must be a contract beast guarding it. It was just that when they came here before, they did not see the figure of a contract beast. They felt a little strange, and thought that the situation in this small world was different from the outside world. There were no contract beasts here. Now it seemed that the situation was not so. They just did not know what this heavenly spirit bear was doing before, and it was not guarding the blood ginseng fruit. This heavenly spirit bear's eyes are blood red. Obviously, it has gone berserk, and its strength has greatly increased. It is not easy to deal with it. Xiao Bai frowned. The strength of the monsters in this small world was much stronger than the monsters in the outside world. After going berserk, the monsters' fighting strength would greatly increase, and their intelligence would degenerate, leaving only their fighting instincts. As a result, it was even more difficult to deal with it. There is no way, we can only fight. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai looked at each other. They could not let their master be in danger. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai attacked the Sky Spirit Bear from both sides. They were both Orange Realm rank 5, so they had no problem dealing with a normal Sky Spirit Bear. However, it was not that simple to deal with the Heavenly Spirit Bear after it went berserk. Bang! Xiao Hei turned into a streak of white light, and her movements were extremely fast as she attacked the Heavenly Spirit Bear. After kicking the Heavenly Spirit Bear, Xiao Hei landed beside the Heavenly Spirit Bear. The Heavenly Spirit Bear originally did not put Xiao Hei in its eyes. It did not expect this fellow's attack to be so powerful. The sudden pain made it even more furious. Roar! The Heavenly Spirit Bear roared and fiercely charged toward Xiao Hei. It wanted to tear this guy into pieces. And when the Heavenly Spirit Bear attacked Xiao Hei, Xiao Bai's foot also fiercely kicked the Heavenly Spirit Bear. They could only use their agility to fight against this humongous fellow. Bang bang bang! Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai attacked the Heavenly Spirit Bear from both sides. They could only hope to stop the Heavenly Spirit Bear from moving forward so that their master could catch up. Chapter 1251. Bailey Hongzhuang did not know what was going on up there, but she knew that enemies had appeared, and the fluctuations of the battle were extremely terrifying. She climbed up the cliff, and the rocks above rustled under the fluctuations of the battle. Just by looking at the situation, she knew that the situation was very serious, and quickly climbed up the cliff. Not far away, a group of cultivators were looking at Gong Xiaoqing and the others who were fighting with the Heavenly Spirit Bear, their eyes filled with a complicated light. I didn't expect that such a group of people would suddenly appear. It's really like the mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Lu Wendy's face was filled with dissatisfaction. They spent so much effort to lure the Heavenly Spirit Bear away, just to get the blood ginseng fruit. They did not expect that halfway through, someone would come and snatch the blood ginseng fruit before them. Wasn't this making them work hard for nothing? I was wondering why the Heavenly Spirit Bear suddenly came back after being lured away by us, so it's because someone took the blood ginseng fruit. Wei Yuanqing spoke out. Su Ilian's face was filled with displeasure. We spent so much effort. We can't let this group of people take advantage of us. We must get the blood ginseng fruit back. The blood ginseng fruit was a medicinal herb that could increase a cultivator's strength. No cultivator could ignore it. As long as they got the blood ginseng fruit, their strength would increase by another step. In this small world, the improvement of one's strength was just too important. The Heavenly Spirit Bear is not easy to deal with. Now that this group of people has helped us get rid of the Heavenly Spirit Bear, it's not too late for us to make a move. Fu Yiyu, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke out, his deep eyes flashing with a trace of malice. Hearing Fu Yiyu's words, Su Ilyan and the others all smiled. They originally thought that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were the Oriole, but now it seemed that they were the real Oriole. It was not that easy to take away what they had set their eyes on. Soon, they would let this group of people who suddenly appeared know the taste of drawing water with a bamboo basket. Yiyu, should we take advantage of this opportunity to catch them all? Su Ilyan could not help but ask. Right now, the group of cultivators were locked in a fierce battle with the Heavenly Spirit Bear. As long as they made a move now, the group of cultivators would be finished. Fu Yiyu looked at the situation not far away, shook his head and said, although the strength of this group of cultivators is not strong, the strength of those two demonic beasts is very strong. If we make a move now, if the Heavenly Spirit Bear's attention is diverted, then the unlucky ones will be us. Fu Yeyu's lips curled into a sneer, since we want to be the Oriole, then we naturally have to wait for them to solve all their problems before we pick up the ready-made ones. Lu Wendy and the others looked at each other and smiled. Originally, they should be the ones to deal with this group of cultivators. They did not expect that a group of scapegoats would appear, saving them a lot of effort. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu finally pulled Bailey Hongzhuang up, and both of their foreheads were sweating. This was not because it took too much effort to pull Bailey Hongzhuang up, but because he was too nervous about the upcoming battle. Heavenly Spirit Bear, that was a really powerful demonic beast. When Bailey Hongzhuang saw the scene in front of her, a trace of surprise appeared on her pretty face. She did not expect that a Heavenly Spirit Bear would suddenly appear, it was really unexpected. Chapter 1252. Looking carefully, Bailey Hongzhuang discovered the Heavenly Spirit Bear's blood-red eyes and immediately understood. Berserk was a special state unique to demonic beasts. Usually, demonic beasts would enter this state when they were greatly stimulated or when they were fighting with their lives on the line. Once a demonic beast entered this state, they would only have the instinct to fight. Their intelligence would weaken a lot, and their strength and attack power would increase. Because of this, even when Bai Shi released his aura, the Heavenly Spirit Bear did not react. Her clear eyes were filled with a trace of doubt. It was not difficult to see that the Heavenly Spirit Bear was the guardian beast of the blood ginseng fruit. However, the Heavenly Spirit Bear was not there before, and when it appeared, it was in a berserk state. This was a bit strange. Could it be that the Heavenly Spirit Bear had been stimulated before? Otherwise, it shouldn't be in this situation. Not far away, Fu Yiyu and the others saw Bailey Hongzhuang, and a trace of surprise appeared on their faces. They had always thought that the person on the cliff should be a man. They did not expect it to be a woman, and an extremely beautiful one at that. This team really doesn't know how to be protective of the fairer sex. They actually let such a beauty pick the blood ginseng fruit. If it were us, we would definitely not do this. Lu Wenda ridiculed. Wei Yuanqing's face revealed a trace of a smile, this is a beauty of the highest quality. However, it seems that she is not easy to deal with. Their vision was far superior to Liang Xinghui and the others. Just by looking at Bailey Hongzhuang's cold expression and calm eyes, they could tell that this woman's strength was not ordinary. If it was an ordinary woman, she would not have the courage to climb the cliff, let alone be able to calmly analyze the situation after seeing the Heavenly Spirit Bear. Su Ilyan looked at Bailey Hongzhuang, who was not far away. This woman indeed had a special trait that attracted men. However, she did not know how strong she was. Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu were obviously not the Heavenly Spirit Bear's opponent. After a few clashes, their faces were pale and they did not have the strength to continue fighting. Under the absolute difference in strength, all efforts were in vain. At this moment, there were only 3 beasts attacking the Heavenly Spirit Bear, but the heavenly spirit bear's skin was thick, and even if they attacked with all their might, the heavenly spirit bear was unable to cause much damage. On the other hand, White Lion's strength was not comparable to Xiao He and Xiao Bai. Although its reaction speed was very fast, it could not avoid being injured under the heavenly spirit bear's crazy attacks. In the blink of an eye, Bailey Hongzhuang had already understood everything after a simple glance at the situation in front of her. With a thought, the colored glass sword appeared in her hand. With a leap, Bailey Hongzhuang's Yuan Qi surged, and without hesitation, she attacked the heavenly spirit bear. Ding! The glass sword pierced the heavenly spirit bear's body, but Bailey Hongzhuang only felt that the heavenly spirit bear's body was abnormally hard, and couldn't be pierced like normal. With a surge of Yuan Qi, the tip of the glass sword exploded with a burst of bright Yuan Qi light. Following that, Bailey Hongzhuang stabbed again, and the glass sword finally successfully pierced the heavenly spirit bear's body. The sudden pain caused the heavenly spirit bear to roar crazily, and a pair of blood-red eyes stared at Bailey Hongzhuang. Although the three little ones had made it feel a little pain, it didn't feel much of it. However, this stab was too much for it to bear. Roar! Chapter 1253. Seeing the heavenly spirit bear's attack, Bailey Hongzhuang quickly used shadow shifting and directly dodged the palm of the heavenly spirit bear. At the same time, Bailey Hongzhuang once again stabbed out. To deal with a monster like the heavenly spirit bear, she had no other way but to attack like this. Bailey Hongzhuang's attack hit again, the glass sword was pulled out and the blood of the heavenly spirit bear sprayed out. The pain made the heavenly spirit bear almost crazy, and it immediately attacked Bailey Hongzhuang like crazy. Even though Bailey Hongzhuang's strength and power couldn't be compared with the heavenly spirit bear, her speed was extremely fast. Shadow shifting was a good martial skill, and under Bailey Hongzhuang's skillful use, the heavenly spirit bear's attack was very dense, but it still didn't fall on Bailey Hongzhuang's body. After seeing this scene, Wei Yuanqing's eyes were filled with a trace of amazement. I didn't expect the strength of this woman in white to be very good, the heavenly spirit bear's attack can't even defeat her. This woman's combat experience is very rich. The heavenly spirit bear's intelligence is now declining, and she can't deal with the heavenly spirit bear like this. Fu Yeyu said slowly. Lu Wendi nodded slightly, he also agreed with Fu Yeyu's statement. They didn't expect the strength of this team to be so good. Fortunately, they were hiding in the back. If this group of cultivators arrived when they were fighting with the heavenly spirit bear, the situation would be terrible. Fortunately, they were the ones who reaped the benefits. At the same time as Bailey Hongzhuang attacked, the three beasts also attacked, but with Baisher's current cultivation, he was not the opponent of the heavenly spirit bear. On the contrary, he suffered some injuries under the heavenly spirit bear's slap. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu only wanted to help Bailey Hongzhuang, but they were stopped by Bailey Hongzhuang. Jiqing, you guys take care of Gong Shaoqing and Dongfang Yu. Looking at the actions of Xia Jiqing and the others, Bailey Hongzhuang quickly said. The strength of this heavenly spirit bear had reached such a level, even if Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu fought, they would not have any results, they would just be injured. Moreover, she always felt that the heavenly spirit bear's situation was a little strange, perhaps there were some other problems. Therefore, it was better for Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu to not do anything. Master, we can't go on like this. Xiao He frowned. Although Master could injure the heavenly spirit bear, the heavenly spirit bear's skin was thick. As long as it didn't injure its vitals, it would only cause it some pain. If that was the case, it would be meaningless. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly as she sized up the heavenly spirit bear with a cold gaze. Even though she was not as powerful as the heavenly spirit bear, she had no choice but to give it a try. In the next second, Bailey Hongzhuang focused her mind and the elemental force in her body surged out. The aura of an Orange Realm Level 2 exploded instantly. Bailey Hongzhuang's hands flipped and a complex seal was formed between her hands, mysterious and full of power. As Bailey Hongzhuang's hands formed more and more seals, the elemental force in the surrounding air also had a few changes. After the heavenly spirit bear felt the changes in the elemental force, it became even more violent and immediately rushed to Bailey Hongzhuang again. After seeing this situation, the three beasts quickly blocked it. No matter what, they had to let Master finish her martial arts. Chapter 1254. The huge cyan palm was completely composed of flames, and the temperature was as hot as magma. The surrounding energy became extremely violent with the appearance of the cyan palm. Feeling the violent energy, the heavenly spirit bear was restless, its eyes were blood red, and it attacked the three beasts crazily. Sacred cyan flame palm. Bailey Hongzhuang shouted coldly, and the huge flame palm slammed toward the heavenly spirit bear. The three beasts immediately retreated after noticing Bailey Hongzhuang's actions, and the heavenly spirit bear panicked after seeing the sacred cyan flame palm. Its huge palm also met the sacred cyan flame palm. Bang! An earth-shattering sound rang out, sparks flew, and heat waves were monstrous. Roar! The heavenly spirit bear roared, and its palms kept slamming out. Everyone only saw the bright green light being annihilated by the smoke after touching the heavenly spirit bear. The ground trembled, and the smoke covered the sky, blocking their vision. Xia Jiqing and the others' eyes were locked on the center of the battle. The heavenly spirit bear was not an easy monster to deal with. The strength of the heavenly spirit bear after going berserk was almost at the 7th level of the Orange Realm. Although the heavenly spirit bear did not know martial arts, its true strength was still extremely terrifying. The three beasts stood beside Bailey Hongzhuang, and one person and three beasts looked at the situation in the smoke. Fu Yeyu and the others not far away saw Bailey Hongzhuang's martial arts and their expressions changed a bit. This sacred cyan flame palm should be a profound level martial arts, but the power of this profound level martial arts is much stronger than the average profound level martial arts. It seems that this woman's foundation is not simple. Lu Wendy's eyes flashed with a complicated light. The difference between a profound level martial arts and a yellow level martial arts seemed to be one level, but the value of the two was completely different. Martial skills that were also profound grade martial skills but were much more powerful were even rarer. With their ability, it was not difficult to get a profound level martial arts, but such a powerful one was very rare. Su Ilyan's face was filled with a touch of interest. This martial arts looks good. As long as we get rid of them, this martial arts will be mine. It seems that our harvest this time will be great. Wei Yuanqing crossed his arms, and his expression was a bit proud. They originally thought that they were lucky that the blood ginseng fruit was sent to them, but they did not expect there to be other gifts. This heavenly spirit bear will not be so easy to deal with. My sacred cyan flame palm, I'm afraid it will go berserk, we have to be careful. Bailey Hongzhuang. She had a strong heavenly spirit bear's skin and skin. This fellow's skin was thick, and its strength was astonishing. The azure flame Saint Palm would cause some damage to the heavenly spirit bear, but it would not be fatal. The following battle would be even more fierce. Roar! Was spirit 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 heavenly spirit 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 heave spirit 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 white 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 white. Blood, the blood. Was also of the blood 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 red, white white blood of. The. It was a bloody mess. It was obvious that Bailey Hongzhuang's attack had caused quite a bit of damage to the heavenly spirit bear. The heavenly spirit bear's scarlet eyes stared at Bailey Hongzhuang, its eyes flashing with an ominous glint as if it wanted to eat Bailey Hongzhuang. Hiss. Chapter 1255. The heavenly spirit bear charged towards Bailey Hongzhuang. Now, it only had eyes for Bailey Hongzhuang. Ever since it was born, it had never been in such a sorry state. Its body was in excruciating pain. It must tear this despicable human into pieces. Seeing the heavenly spirit bear closing in on her, Bailey Hongzhuang's expression turned serious. She used fulgurating shadows and dodged the heavenly spirit bear's attack. However, the heavenly spirit bear's attack still followed closely behind her. Obviously, Bailey Hongzhuang had attracted all of the heavenly spirit bear's hatred. "Master, be careful." Xiao He quickly shouted and charged towards the heavenly spirit bear. The heavenly spirit bear seemed to have identified Bailey Hongzhuang and only wanted to kill Bailey Hongzhuang. It did not care about Xiao He's attack. Xiao Bai and Bai Shi went up to help. This big guy was not easy to deal with. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes flashed with wisdom and calmness. The heavenly spirit bear was already strong. Luckily, the sacred green flame palm had injured the heavenly spirit bear and weakened its strength. Xiao He and Xiao Bai's attacks landed on the heavenly spirit bear. However, the heavenly spirit bear did not care at all. It was completely focused on Bailey Hongzhuang. It must kill this despicable woman. Rumble. With every step the heavenly spirit bear took, the ground shook violently. Everyone stood at the edge of the cliff. They felt that the ground was shaking so violently that it could break at any time. The heavenly spirit bear closed in. Even though Bailey Hongzhuang was extremely fast, the heavenly spirit bear only used its body to block Bailey Hongzhuang and forced Bailey Hongzhuang into a corner. Bang! The heavenly spirit bear's huge paw attacked Bailey Hongzhuang again. The huge paw was like a black mass that slapped towards Bailey Hongzhuang. Once Bailey Hongzhuang was hit by this palm, no one doubted that Bailey Hongzhuang would be badly mutilated. "Master! Hongzhuang!" The three beasts and Xia Jiqing and the others spoke at the same time. Their faces were filled with horror, and their hearts seemed to stop beating in an instant. An unspeakable sense of fear spread in their hearts. Roar! At this moment, the white lion's deafening roar spread out. The loud and shocking voice entered everyone's ears, and the entire world seemed to have a moment of silence. When the heavenly spirit bear heard the white lion's roar, it was stunned for a moment. Its eyes were still blood red, but it was instinctively afraid of the roar. In this short moment of stagnation, Bailey Hongzhuang's figure had already jumped out of the encirclement. Not far away, Fu Yeyu and the others heard the white lion's roar and their expressions suddenly changed. When they heard this roar, they only felt their hearts tremble, as if there was a natural pressure spreading from their hearts, making them tremble. What kind of monster beast is this? Its voice is so amazing. Su Ilyan's face was filled with an incredible color. It was the first time she had heard such a terrifying roar, and she had never heard it from a contract beast. It was really shocking. Before, this little guy showed the fighting power of the 5th level of the Red Realm, which was already very amazing. I didn't expect the roar to be so amazing. It seems that it is definitely not an ordinary monster beast. Chapter 1256. This woman is not simple either, to be able to contract a demonic beast of this level. Lu Wendy's face was filled with astonishment, but he quickly frowned, but since she can even contract a demonic beast of this level, how could she be from a small empire? Maybe she just happened to be lucky enough to contract such a demonic beast. It can only be said that she's lucky. Su Ilyan shrugged her shoulders, her expression showing that she did not think much of it. As she spoke, Su Ilyan could not help but look at Fu Yeyu. "Brother Fu, do you think I'm right?" However, Fu Yeyu did not answer Su Ilyan's question. His gaze was fixed on the white lion. He had a feeling that this little fellow was definitely an extremely terrifying demonic beast. However, because it was still very young, it could not fully display its strength. In a few more years, this little fellow would definitely be an extremely extraordinary existence. Didn't you guys notice that when this little fellow roared, even the heavenly spirit bear was stunned for a moment? Fu Yeyu narrowed his eyes. Others did not notice this, but he did not miss it. Following Fu Yeyu's words, Su Ilian and the other two were all stunned. Following that, their faces could not help but be filled with shock. They had not noticed this before, but now that Fu Yeyu had reminded them, they immediately understood how terrifying it was. For a demonic beast of the heavenly spirit bear's level to change due to its roar, this proves that this contracted beast's level is above the heavenly spirit bear's. When everyone thought of this, their expressions could not help but change. At this moment, they could not help but envy Bailey Hongzhuang. A contracted beast was already an extremely rare existence, and a powerful contracted beast was even rarer. They did not expect that Bailey Hongzhuang could contract a demonic beast of such a level. She was truly extraordinarily lucky. Wei Yuanqing's expression gradually changed, and his heart was filled with shock. The heavenly spirit bear is currently in a berserk state. When this was said, everyone was stunned once again. This sentence was like a bomb that exploded in everyone's hearts. A feeling of disbelief spread in everyone's minds. This was simply impossible. Whenever a demonic beast fell into a berserk state, their intelligence would rapidly decline. They would not be able to think of anything else, and would only be left with their battle instincts. Even if a stronger monster appeared in front of it, it wouldn't feel the slightest bit of fear. It wouldn't even care about the suppression of its level. However, White Lion's roar had stunned the berserk heavenly spirit bear for a moment. This was not a simple matter. Then, what level is this contracted beast? At this moment, Su Ilian didn't know what to say. What kind of demonic beast could do this? Moreover, this little guy was still so young. How terrifying would he be in the future? Fu Yeyu no longer spoke, his eyes were fixed on the three demonic beasts. None of them were simple. The other fellows were all injured. Now, only the white-clothed woman and her three contracted beasts were fighting together. This situation was really strange. If he could get his hands on these contracted beasts, it would be a huge gain. Compared to the surprise of Su Ilian and the others, Bailey Hongzhuang was still in battle. Chapter 1257. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu accompanied Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu. The two of them had been hit hard by the heavenly spirit bear and their injuries were very serious. The strength of the heavenly spirit bear was so great that one move was enough to make people's internal organs churn. The two of them had endured the attack of the heavenly spirit bear and were now very weak. Even if the two of them had taken healing medicine, their internal injuries were obviously not something that could be healed in a short time. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu both felt a deep sense of powerlessness. Facing such a monster, the two of them were so helpless. They were a team, but after such a crisis appeared, they did not have the strength to face it. They just watched from the side, their hearts were already anxious, but if they went up to fight, they knew that they would not be able to do anything at all. It was better to wait for an opportunity, maybe there would be a chance to help Hongzhuang. Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu also looked at Bailey Hongzhuang worriedly. They wanted to fight, but with their current physical condition, they simply did not have the ability to continue fighting. At this moment, everyone only hated that they were not strong enough. If they were strong enough, then they would not be so powerless in such a situation. Junyu, we are fine. You go and see if you can help Hongzhuang. Dong Fangyu said. Now the heavenly spirit bear's attention was completely attracted by Hongzhuang and would not care about them at all. Listening to Dong Fangyu's words, Bai Junyu and Xia Jiqing also nodded. Then you be careful. After that, Bai Junyu and Xia Jiqing picked up their weapons and went to Bailey Hongzhuang's side. No matter what, they had to do their part. They saw Bailey Hongzhuang's hands turn over, and the vigorous spirit energy continued to surge out of her body, followed by a more scorching force than before. A huge green flaming palm appeared in the air once again. The heavenly spirit bear became more violent after seeing this familiar blue flame palm. Its previous injury was because of this blue flame palm. Not far away, Fu Yeyu and the others saw Bailey Hongzhuang use the same trick again, and there was a trace of surprise in their eyes. Su Ilyan curled her lips as her expression revealed a hint of disdain. Previously, everyone had thought too highly of this white-clothed girl. Now, it seemed that this girl only knew this profound rank martial skill. Her strength was far from being as strong as they thought. It seems that the white-clothed woman is also at her wit's end. Apart from this move, she doesn't have any other moves. Lu Wendy and the others didn't speak when they heard this. To cultivators from small dynasties, being able to grasp a profound rank martial skill was already extremely good. Even if they used the same move, as long as they could achieve results, it would be very good. However, Bailey Hongzhuang had already used this trick before. Even if she used it again, it might not be as effective. Yi Yu, in my opinion, why don't we wait for this white-clothed girl to finish this move and then make a move? Wei Yuanqing said slowly. Thinking about it, after Bailey Hongzhuang's move was finished, this heavenly spirit bear's injury would be even more serious. If they all made a move together, this heavenly spirit bear would be finished. Hearing this, Fu Yeyu thought for a moment and said, let's see the situation first. This white-clothed girl should have other ideas. Chapter 1258. Xia Jiqing and the others immediately knew Bailey Hongzhuang's plan after seeing Bailey Hongzhuang display this move. They had seen Hongzhuang display this move in the last college tournament. It was the same Azure Flame Holy Palm, but the power of the two had a huge difference. The Azure Flame Holy Palm gave people a feeling that it was difficult to resist, but the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm gave people an indescribable feeling of horror. They could faintly feel that the Azure Flame Holy Palm was a primary profound level martial skill, and the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm must have reached the intermediate profound level martial skill. They were also very amazed by Hongzhuang's martial skill. Because the situation of the Azure Flame Holy Palm was really special, they had never heard of such a transformation martial skill, and after the transformation, the power could increase so much. Speaking of which, Hongzhuang had a lot of special places, and they had already gotten used to it. Sure enough, after Bailey Hongzhuang displayed the Azure Flame Holy Palm, the next moment, the gesture of her hands suddenly changed. The Azure Flame Holy Palm gradually became smaller in everyone's eyes, and a palpitating power spread out from the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm. The originally hot temperature was now even hotter, and the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm was like the core of the flame, which was eye-catching. What kind of martial skill is this? Lu Wendy's face was filled with indescribable surprise. It can actually change like this. They knew that some martial skills had different moves, but the sudden shrinking of the martial skill was really strange. Moreover, Bailey Hongzhuang obviously compressed the power of the Azure Flame Holy Palm, making the energy more condensed and the power more terrifying. Su Ilyan's face was a bit ugly. Just a moment ago, she was still laughing at Bailey Hongzhuang, and the next moment, Bailey Hongzhuang displayed such a special move, which made her somewhat embarrassed. The things on this woman are really not simple. There must be a lot of treasures in her Qinquan bag. Wei Yuanqing chuckled. The other cultivators did not show too much, but they had already seen a lot of special things from Bailey Hongzhuang. Thinking about it, their harvest this time was really not small. When the heavenly spirit bear saw the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm, it had some doubts, and immediately rushed toward Bailey Hongzhuang again. It really hated this annoying human in front of it. She was obviously not as strong as it, but she was as cunning as a loach, making it impossible for it to catch her. Bailey Hongzhuang's movements was also extremely fast. With a wave, the shrunken Azure Flame Holy Palm once again rushed toward the heavenly spirit bear. Bang! An earth-shattering sound seemed to come from the heavens, exploding in everyone's ears. Countless clouds of dust once again spread out, obscuring everyone's vision. Everyone's gaze was focused on the cloud of dust, only wanting to know the situation of the heavenly spirit bear. Her black phoenix eyes stared at the smoke and dust in the sky. Bailey Hongzhuang's pretty face was expressionless. She had a certain amount of confidence in her sacred azure flame palm. It did its attack. Palms. Although the berserk heavenly spirit bear was stronger, it had lost its intelligence, so it was easy to deal with. If it was a cultivator of this level, it would be really difficult for her to deal with it. Demonic beasts that did not know martial skills were undoubtedly much easier to deal with. Chapter 1259. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was indifferent as she slowly said, "I can't be sure, but even if it didn't die, this blow made it uncomfortable." After a long while, under everyone's gaze, the smoke gradually dissipated, and a burnt smell spread. Everyone could clearly see the situation in the smoke. The heavenly spirit bear had fallen to the ground, and its blood-red eyes gradually regained their clarity. It seemed that it was breathing more than it was inhaling. Seeing the heavenly spirit bear's dying appearance, the faces of Xia Jiqing and the others were filled with joy. Success! Dongfang Yu and Gong Shaoqing also breathed a sigh of relief. Their originally tense hearts were also put down, and their slightly pale handsome faces were filled with smiles. After such a thrilling battle, it was finally resolved safely. "Hongzhuang, you are really amazing." Xia Jiqing's face could not hide the excitement. The heavenly spirit bear was a monster beast, and it was simply a disaster. There was no other choice but to escape. However, now Hongzhuang had directly killed the heavenly spirit bear. What kind of strength was this? Gong Shaoqing's heart was also filled with emotion. Thinking back to the college tournament, Bailey Hongzhuang had difficulty displaying the miniature version of the sacred blue flame palm. Now, when Bailey Hongzhuang displayed it again, her expression was very relaxed, and it was no longer as simple as before. This point alone was enough to prove that Bailey Hongzhuang's strength had improved during this time. Amazing! Bai Junyu gave Bailey Hongzhuang a thumbs up. This kind of strength was really admirable. Bailey Hongzhuang walked to the side of Gong Shaoqing and Dongfang Yu, a trace of concern on her face. "How are your injuries?" Gong Shaoqing waved his hand. "We suffered a little internal injury. We only need to recuperate for a while to recover." Although there was a burning pain in their internal organs, it did not hurt their foundation. They only needed to rest for a while. Dongfang Yu nodded slightly, agreeing with Gong Shaoqing's statement. Even if they were injured today, compared to their gains, this injury was nothing. However, there was also an indescribable sense of urgency in his heart. Bailey Hongzhuang's strength had improved so quickly, leaving them far behind. They must desperately catch up with Bailey Hongzhuang. Otherwise, in the future, the gap between them would become bigger and bigger, and in the future, they would not even be qualified to be teammates with Bailey Hongzhuang. This was not what he wanted. Bailey Hongzhuang checked Gong Shaoqing and Dongfang Yu's pulse. Both of their internal organs had suffered a certain shock, obviously caused by the heavenly spirit bear's strength. Their injuries, and their injuries, once they fell off the cliff, it would be really dangerous. My internal injuries are quite serious. It seems that I will need to rest for a few days. Hongzhuang, Dongfang Yu, and Dongfang Yu, Dongfang Yu, and Dongfang S and Shaoqing, and Dongfang and Dongfang Yi Dongfang. Based on their current location, there was still a certain distance from the city where they were resting. It would not be easy for the two of them to rush back. The three beasties had already surrounded the heavenly spirit bear. Xiao He and Xiao Bai's eyes were filled with desire. I heard that this heavenly spirit bear's taste is not bad. Looks like we can try it today. Many demonic beasts' meat was not delicious, but some demonic beasts' meat could be said to be delicious. Obviously, this heavenly spirit bear's meat was delicious. Chapter 1260. Bailey Hongzhuang walked to the heavenly spirit bear's side and stabbed the colored glass sword into its body. The dead heavenly spirit bear's skin and flesh were not as hard as before, so it was a very simple matter to take out the demon crystal. After taking out the demonic crystal, Bailey Hongzhuang found that the energy in this demonic crystal was obviously much more abundant than the energy of an ordinary demonic crystal. It seemed that this was a great supplement for Baisher. Baisher had already jumped excitedly onto Bailey Hongzhuang's shoulder, its big bright eyes flashing with excitement. It rubbed its palms and licked its lips, obviously craving for the demon crystal. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled and tossed the demonic crystal to Baisher. Baisher immediately caught it and bit it. Lu Wendy and the others not far away saw that Bailey Hongzhuang had actually defeated the heavenly spirit bear, and their eyes were filled with surprise. It seemed that they had underestimated Bailey Hongzhuang's strength. Fu Yeyu's gaze fell on Baisher. This little guy had always been extraordinary. It actually ate the heavenly spirit bear's demon crystal directly. It was really amazing. What kind of demonic beast was the heavenly spirit bear? Its demon crystal contained very rich energy, but this little guy dared to eat it directly. He had never seen such a young contract beast being able to do this. What kind of contract beast was this? It was really puzzling. Su Ilyan looked at the crowd and said, "It's time for us to make a move." Lu Wendy and the others looked at each other and then stood up together. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others packed up and were about to leave, and an untimely voice suddenly rang out. "Leave the blood ginseng fruit." Su Ilyan's sharp and disdainful voice rang out. Her lips curled into a faint smile, and her eyes were filled with an aggressive light. This woman in white had really aroused her interest. She had not paid so much attention to a woman in a long time. Seeing the sudden appearance of a group of people, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were all stunned. The atmosphere instantly turned ugly. Her ink-black phoenix eyes flashed with a deep light. Earlier, she had felt that something was wrong. Now, it seemed that there was indeed some other unforeseen event. Xiao He and Xiao Bai's eyes flashed with a trace of annoyance. Previously, they had placed all their attention on the heavenly spirit bear and did not pay attention to the other movements around them. Who would have thought that there would be such a group of people hiding nearby? It seemed like the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The faces of Xia Jiqing and the others were ugly. They had spent a lot of effort to kill the heavenly spirit bear, and now someone was trying to take advantage of it. You've been watching the show for so long, and now you want to reap the benefits? Don't you think you're dreaming? Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was indifferent, her eyes revealing a trace of coldness, but her heart was constantly thinking about the situation in front of her. The other party was obviously from a medium-sized empire as well, and there were 8 people in the group. In comparison, they were undoubtedly at a disadvantage. Dong Fangyu and Gong Xiaoqing were both heavily injured and were clearly unable to continue fighting. The most important thing was that the other party still chose to come out after seeing her strength, which proved that the strength of their team was not weak. It seemed that this was going to be a fierce battle. "Miss, what you're saying is wrong." Lu Wendy shook his head, a chic smile on his face. Chapter 1261. Listening to Lu Wendy's words, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes flashed with a hint of understanding. It seemed that her previous guess was not wrong. The heavenly spirit bear had fallen into a state of madness because of them, and they had been watching the show from the side. This blood ginseng fruit grows between heaven and earth. Naturally, it belongs to whoever picks it. Young master's words are too unreasonable. Her deep phoenix eyes were filled with a cold light. Bailey Hongzhuang's voice was sonorous and powerful. Everyone knew that the treasures of heaven and earth belonged to whoever obtained them. What this guy said was completely twisting words and forcing logic. Seeing that Bailey Hongzhuang's words had exposed him, Lu Wendy did not care. You either obediently leave the blood ginseng fruit behind, or all of you stay here together. A wise man submits to circumstances. I think you should think about it carefully. Lu Wendy crossed his arms over his chest, looking fearless. Now the fighting power of Bailey Hongzhuang's group was not comparable to theirs. Whether it was robbing or seizing, this group of people would not be their opponents. The blood ginseng fruit was already in their bag. Looking at Lu Wendy and the other's fearless appearance, Xia Jiqing secretly said, "You are too despicable." Wei Yuanqing chuckled, "What is this? You have not seen what is more despicable." Gong Shaoqing and the others' faces were livid. None of them thought that someone would come out of nowhere and want to directly take the blood ginseng fruit away. However, this was something that none of them could accept. Fu Yeyu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang. Originally, when he saw Bailey Hongzhuang from a distance, he felt that this woman was elegant and refined. At this moment, looking closer, that perfect face did not have the slightest blemish. There was a trace of gentleness in her arrogance, which was unforgettable. However, Fu Yeyu had never been a person who was obsessed with beauty. Only strength was the most important. When he became strong, how many beauties would be in his bag? Hand over the blood ginseng fruit now. Otherwise, you will be the unlucky ones. Fu Yiyu's voice was cold and arrogant, "We'll let you go because you've taken care of the heavenly spirit bear. If you don't know what's good for you, don't blame us." Hearing Fu Yeyu's words, Su Ilyan couldn't help but frown. She was very interested in this azure flame sacred palm. From the beginning to the end, she had never thought of letting this group of people go. As long as he killed them, not only would he be able to obtain the blood ginseng fruit, he would also be able to obtain the martial skill. This woman looked so extraordinary. She must have a lot of treasures in her Qinkuan bag. How could she let them go just like that? The problem was that both Fu Yeyu and Lu Wendy said the same thing, so she didn't know what to do. This is impossible. Gong Shaoqing's cold face was filled with anger. They had worked so hard to obtain the blood ginseng fruit, so they could not just give it to someone else. Along the way, the thought of increasing their strength had been hovering in their minds. The blood ginseng fruit was an extremely important treasure to them now. As long as they consumed the blood ginseng fruit, their cultivation would increase by a lot. Hearing this, Fu Yeyu sneered, "In your current situation, if you want to make an enemy out of us, then you are seeking your own death." Gong Shaoqing's face became uglier. If he wasn't injured, he could have fought with the other party. Chapter 1262. Master, these guys are too arrogant. Let me beat them up. Xiao Hei's eyes were full of anger. It had always been them who robbed others. Now someone dared to rob them. This was intolerable. Xiao Bai also clenched his fists. These guys want to take advantage of us. We must not let them have an easy time. Baisher looked at Fu Yeyu and the others fiercely. Any cultivator who was the enemy of his master was his enemy. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Fu Yeyu and the others indifferently. Which dynasty are you from? Since they were opponents, she had to figure out the identity of the other party. Su Ilyan held her head high and looked at them with contempt. Sky Dynasty. Their Sky Dynasty was a medium-sized dynasty. It was not comparable to the other small dynasty. Not only that, but the Cosmos Empire was also one of the best among the medium-sized empires. Compared to Su Ilyan's triumphant appearance, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others looked at each other, their faces showing a trace of confusion. Have you heard of it? Xia Jiqing asked curiously. She had heard of the dynasties near the Kanglan College, but had never heard of the other dynasties. Gong Shaoqing and the others shook their heads. They usually put all their energy into cultivation. They did not care about the names of some dynasties. They had never heard of the Sky Dynasty. As for Bailey Hongzhuang, there was no need to say more. She had never cared about the large, medium, and small dynasties. Only after coming to the small world did she know that Feng Bo country was a small dynasty. Looking at Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, Su Yilian only felt that they were deliberately provoking her. She could not help but feel angry. A group of country bumpkins. They have never even heard of the name Sky Dynasty. Su Yilian's face was red. Generally, the cultivators of the small and medium-sized dynasties would show a red realm appearance when they knew they were from the Sky Dynasty. Some cultivators with foresight would take a detour when they saw them. Now these guys had not even heard of the name Sky Dynasty. It really made her angry. Fu Yeyu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang and the others and asked, "Which dynasty are you from?" Bailey Hongzhuang frowned. They were not from the dynasty but from the Tiangang sect. It was just that the number of people in their team was not convincing at all. Xia Jiqing had already blurted out, "Tiangang." Without waiting for Xia Jiqing to finish speaking, Su Yilian's voice had already sounded. Tiangang dynasty? What dynasty was this? I've never heard of it. The eyes of Fu Yiyu and the rest also flickered with a pondering light. They had taken note of the strength of the various empires before participating in the great competition. Although they didn't pay much attention to the small empires, they still took a few glances at them. However, they had indeed never heard of the name of the Great Dipper dynasty. Tiangang dynasty, it doesn't sound like a great dynasty. The name is so similar to Tiangang sect, it's ridiculous. Su Yilian looked at Bailey Hongzhuang and others disdainfully. The name of a small empire was actually so similar to the name of Tiangang sect. It was really like trying to draw a tiger but ended up looking like a dog. What a joke. Chapter 1263. Xia Jiqing looked at Su Yilian speechlessly. She had never seen such a self-righteous woman. She was really a weirdo. So what? Bailey Hongzhuang's phoenix eyes slightly raised, her delicate and beautiful face indifferent and calm. Since Su Yilian misunderstood, then she would let her misunderstand. Tiangang dynasty, this name was not bad. Listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's rhetorical question, Su Yilian could not help but be stunned for a moment. Faced with such a question, she really did not know how to answer. It was this short period of silence that made Su Yilian even angrier. The current situation was clearly that they had the upper hand, but Bailey Hongzhuang still dared to talk to her like this. Did she not want to live anymore? Hand over the blood ginseng fruit immediately, otherwise you will all die here. Su Yilian's face was cold, her eyes burning with anger. Her delicate and beautiful face bloomed with an enchanting and evil smile, revealing an unruly and arrogant aura. Bailey Hongzhuang's red lips lightly opened, "Just by you. You are not qualified. Even if Gong Shaoqing and Dongfang Yu were injured, Xiao He, Xiao Bai and Baishe were all good fighters. Although the other side had more people than them, the situation was not certain in a real battle. She, Bailey Hongzhuang, had never had the possibility of being easily taken away by others. Unless, the other side killed her. With Bailey Hongzhuang's sarcastic and provocative words, the atmosphere suddenly froze. Su Yilian's face was livid, but there was a trace of relief in her heart. Originally, she was worried that Bailey Hongzhuang's group would obediently hand over the blood ginseng fruit, then she would have no fate with the sacred azure flame palm. Now Bailey Hongzhuang was not appreciating her kindness, which was exactly what she wanted to see. When Bailey Hongzhuang was defeated by her, she wanted to see if this woman could still be so arrogant. Since you don't know what's good for you, then I will let you know the price of arrogance. Su Yilian narrowed her eyes. However, Bailey Hongzhuang did not care at all. Same here. At the same time, Xia Jiqing and the others had already taken out their weapons. As cultivators, they would never give up without a fight. If you want to take away their things, you need to have enough strength. Bailey Hongzhuang sized up Su Ilyan and the rest. Among these people, Fu Yeyu was the strongest. The other cultivators were not weak either. There was a certain degree of difficulty in the battle, but no one would know the outcome until the very last moment. In a moment, when you have the opportunity, you must kill them. End the battle quickly, don't give them a chance to turn the tables, Bailey Hongzhuang said in a low voice. The three beasts nodded in unison. This was no laughing matter now. Their master had already lost quite a bit of his origin energy in the previous battle. Even if he consumed medicinal pills, he would not be able to recover in a short period of time. They could only end this battle as quickly as possible. Gong Shaoqing, Dongfang Yu, don't join the battle. Take care of yourselves. Hearing this, although Dongfang Yu and Gong Shaoqing were unwilling, they also knew that with their physical condition, they could not bear another battle. In the current situation, they could only wait for an opportunity. The most important thing was that they could not become a burden to Hongzhuang and the others. Jiqing, Junyu, in a moment, find your opponents and end the battle quickly. Chapter 1264. Seeing the actions of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, Fu Yeyu and the others knew that they did not intend to hand over the blood ginseng fruit and were going to fight to the death. Miss, I advise you not to be stubborn. If you lose your life for the blood ginseng fruit, it is not a good deal. Lu Wendy's lips evoked an evil smile. If the woman in white was not their opponent, he would really appreciate it. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were like a knife, sharp and cold. Stop talking nonsense. If you want to take the blood ginseng fruit, you have to see if you have the strength. With Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Lu Wendy and the others' faces were also filled with a disdainful smile. It was a simple matter for them to deal with a team from a small empire. You won't give up until you reach the Yellow River. Fu Yiyu sneered. The origin energy in his body surged out like a tidal wave, and a vigorous energy burst out in an instant. Orange Realm Level 5. Feeling the strength of Fu Yeyu, everyone's expression changed. They already knew that Fu Yeyu's strength was very strong before, but they did not expect him to have reached Orange Realm Level 5. They were also from a medium-sized empire, but the strength of Fu Yeyu and the others was much stronger than Liang Xinghui and the others they had encountered before. Xia Jiqing and the others understood at this moment that the Sky Empire was a very strong existence among the medium-sized empires, so the strength of the cultivators was so strong. At the same time, Su Ilyan took a step forward, and the tyrannical strength burst out in an instant. Bailey Hongzhuang looked indifferent. In this short moment, she also understood the strength of the other party. 1 Orange Realm Level 5, 2 Orange Realm Level 4, 1 Orange Realm Level 3, 1 Orange Realm Level 1, 2 Red Realm Level 8, and 1 Red Realm Level 7. Compared with the strength of the two teams, there was a huge gap. No wonder the other party was not afraid after knowing their strength. This battle was not easy. The faces of Xia Jiqing and the others were pale. Except for Hongzhuang, Xiao He, and Xiao Bai, who could fight with the other party, their combat power was not enough. Originally, they did not know the other party's strength, so they were very indifferent. Now, it seemed that the gap between their strength was not ordinary. Master, the difference in strength is a little too great. A serious look appeared in Xiao Bai's eyes. The few of them were not afraid, but Gong Shaoqing and the others were clearly weak points. Once the other party held Gong Shaoqing and the others hostage, their situation would be extremely awkward. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned slightly. This situation was indeed difficult to resolve. If it was only her and the three beasts, they could still put up a fight. But in the current situation, it was obviously impossible to fight head-on. Suddenly, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up. At this point, they only had one solution. The three beasts saw the sudden change in Bailey Hongzhuang's face, and there was a hint of surprise in their eyes. They did not know what their master had thought of. The blood ginseng fruit could improve the strength of the cultivator. After Bailey Hongzhuang got the blood ginseng fruit, she only wanted to combine it with several other herbs to refine it into a pill. In this way, the best effect of the blood ginseng fruit could be exerted. But in the current situation, it was obvious that they could not wait for that moment. In this case, there was only one way left, which was to take the blood ginseng fruit. Chapter 1265. Thinking of this, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly said, "Wait a moment, I have to discuss with my teammates." Seeing the sudden change in Bailey Hongzhuang's attitude, Fu Yeyu and the others had a clear smile on their faces. It could only be said that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were not willing to give up. They were so arrogant before when they did not know their strength. Now that they knew how powerful they were, they changed their attitude. Gong Xiaoqing and the others listened to Bailey Hongzhuang's words, and there was a strong sense of helplessness and frustration in their hearts. They understood that Bailey Hongzhuang's decision was wise. With their current strength, they were indeed not the opponents of the cultivators of the Sky Empire. If they fought hard, it was likely that they would be wiped out. Compared to such an ending, the loss of handing over the blood ginseng fruit was undoubtedly much smaller. However, an opportunity to improve their own strength had slipped away from their eyes, which was undoubtedly a very painful thing. Fu Yeyu and the others looked at each other. They were also a little afraid of the strength that Bailey Hongzhuang had shown before. Although they were certain to win this battle, with the difficulty of Bailey Hongzhuang and the three monsters, they were afraid that they would have to pay a big price. In contrast, if they could easily get the blood ginseng fruit, they would naturally choose this more advantageous way. After all, they still had to stay in the small world for a while. If their strength was reduced, it would be very disadvantageous for them in the next year. A wise man submits to circumstances, you can discuss it. Fu Yeyu said generously. In any case, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others would not escape from their hands. Even if they wanted to delay time, it was nothing. Because no matter how they delayed time, the final situation could not be changed. Bailey Hongzhuang took a few steps back and walked in front of Xia Jiqing and the others. Xia Jiqing and the others' mood at the moment could be described as very low. It was a rare luck to be able to encounter a treasure like the blood ginseng fruit. They did not expect that now they would have to hand over the blood ginseng fruit. They really could not bear such a blow. Because of their incompetence, they could only hand over such a treasure. However, Bailey Hongzhuang's next words made them stunned for a moment, and their eyes once again bloomed with a bright light. Everyone listen carefully, now we only have one way left, that is to take the blood ginseng fruit. The energy contained in the blood ginseng fruit is powerful and violent. It will be difficult to swallow it with the strength of the Red Realm, but I have a kind of medicinal pill that is more gentle. As long as you take the blood ginseng fruit with this pill, the violent elements in the energy will be reduced a lot, and you will face the state of breakthrough. In this case, we can only to fight a quick battle to end. Her ink-black phoenix-like eyes were filled with a resolute light. In her life's creed, there was no such thing as surrendering to others. Therefore, even if he had to risk his life, he had to give it a try. Asked, Bailey Hongzhuang to them was to be. Asked. Them Hongjing is Wang. She. Gong Xiaoqing and the others nodded without hesitation. No problem. They could not wait for Bailey Hongzhuang to make such a decision. They knew that an interview was much better than surrendering in their eyes. Chapter 1266. Fu Yeyu and the others looked arrogantly at Bailey Hongzhuang and the others. No matter how Bailey Hongzhuang and the others discussed, there was no solution in front of them, so they could only let them discuss. If you knew this would happen, why would you waste time letting us release our aura? Lu Wendy's face was filled with a smug smile. It was this kind of feeling that was the most satisfying. Without making a move, just releasing their aura was enough to make the other party raise their hands and surrender. What kind of strength was this? It's not easy for them. They spent a lot of effort, but in the end, they didn't get anything. Wei Yuanqing chuckled. Su Ilyan was not as happy as the others. She just wanted to kill Bailey Hongzhuang, but she did not expect that Bailey Hongzhuang would change her mind at the last moment. Hey, have you finished discussing? Su Ilyan said impatiently, now hand over the blood ginseng fruit and you can get out. For some reason, listening to Su Ilyan's words, Fu Yeyu could not help but frown. He always felt that something was wrong. Bailey Hongzhuang slowly turned around, her lips evoked a bright and enchanting smile, and said, "We have finished discussing." The next moment, Xia Jiqing and the others had already put the blood ginseng fruit they got from Bailey Hongzhuang into their mouths. In their view, they had a total of 5 cultivators, and 5 blood ginseng fruits had grown here. It was completely prepared for them by God. How could they hand it over so easily? Bailey Hongzhuang also put the blood ginseng fruit into her mouth along with the medicinal pills. The blood ginseng fruit melted in her mouth, and immediately turned into rich energy that was absorbed by the cells in her body. Everyone only felt that their internal organs were burning, and their whole body seemed to have endless power. Gong Xiaoqing and Dong Fangyu felt that their injuries were gradually alleviated under the influx of this energy. Any heaven and earth treasure had the effect of healing injuries, but usually cultivators would not make such a choice because it was too wasteful. However, in the situation in front of them, they had no other choice at all. Fu Yeyu and the others did not think that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others would suddenly make such a decision. The energy of the blood ginseng fruit was so violent that they directly swallowed it. Did they not want to live anymore? After a short moment of surprise, Fu Yeyu and the rest all had a look of anger on their faces. There were only 5 blood ginseng fruits. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others had all eaten these 5 blood ginseng fruits. Didn't this mean that they had nothing? How dare you? Fu Yeyu quickly stepped forward, wanting to stop Bailey Hongzhuang and the others. A treasure like the blood ginseng fruit was a great tonic for any cultivator. As long as their strength could be improved, it meant that they would be able to achieve better results in the assessment competition. However, now Bailey Hongzhuang and the others actually ate the blood ginseng fruit in front of them. But Fu Yeyu's stop was of no use. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others had long known that Fu Yeyu and the others would try their best to stop them, so they took it as quickly as possible, not giving the other party a chance to stop them. After taking the blood ginseng fruit, Bailey Hongzhuang innocently spread her hands. "Sorry, this is our decision." Chapter 1267. You guys are so despicable. Su Ilyan's eyes widened as she stared at Bailey Hongzhuang in disbelief. The blood ginseng fruit was so powerful that even with their cultivation base, they did not dare to swallow the fruit directly. This group of people was too deranged to actually make such a crazy decision. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Su Ilyan coldly. "No matter how despicable I am, I can't be more despicable than you guys. You guys are dreaming if you want to reap the benefits from our fight." Su Ilyan's face was ashen. Her original wishful thinking had been broken by Bailey Hongzhuang, the anger in her heart could be imagined. "You're asking for it." Su Ilyan shouted angrily. Bailey Hongzhuang's actions were tantamount to humiliating them, it was simply unbearable. As Su Ilyan's voice fell, the Yuan Qi and Fu Yeyu and the others' bodies whizzed out in an instant. At this point, they must kill Bailey Hongzhuang and the others to vent the anger in their hearts. Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest were prepared to fight as they watched Su Ilyan and the rest. Moreover, they felt like they could not exert their strength under the immense energy of the blood ginseng fruit. To be able to have a battle at this time was the best thing. Leave the orange level 5 guy to me. Xiao Hei's eyes flashed coldly. These guys were so arrogant just because they were strong. It had to make them pay the price. Leave the 2 orange level 4 guys to me. Xiao Bai said. Normally, it would only fight monsters that were not strong enough. It was quite boring. It did not expect to see such a good show today. It was rare to have such a good opportunity to perform. Of course, it had to perform well. It had not had a chance to relax for so many years. These guys were perfect for it to practice. Bailey Hongzhuang originally wanted to fight Lu Wendi, who was at orange level 4. However, since Xiao Bai said that it would take care of these 2 guys, it changed its mind. Xiao Bai, hang in there for a while. I'll help you after I've taken care of the orange level rank 3 cultivator, Bailey Hongzhuang said. The strength of Xia Jiqing's group and the other 4 cultivators obviously had a big gap. Therefore, they had to deal with these 4 cultivators as soon as possible. As long as they could get rid of these 4 fellows, they would win. Otherwise, they would suffer great losses. Master, don't worry, leave it to me. Xiao Bai's eyes shone with determination. It could still hold on against 2 orange level 4 cultivators. Xia Jiqing and the other 3 also chose their opponents. With their current cultivation, it was obviously not easy to deal with the other party. However, under the turbulent energy of the blood ginseng fruit, they only felt that their combat effectiveness had improved a lot. Baisher decided to help Xia Jiqing and the others. Only in this way could they last longer. In just a short moment, everyone had already found their opponents. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai stepped forward and blocked Fu Yeyu and the other 2. At the same time, Su Ilyan walked directly to Bailey Hongzhuang. She had been unhappy with Bailey Hongzhuang for a long time. Now, she finally had a chance to deal with Bailey Hongzhuang. What's your name? Su Ilyan's eyes shone with a fierce light as she asked coldly. Bailey Hongzhuang's face was cold and indifferent. My name is Bailey Hongzhuang, and I'll never change my surname. Chapter 1268. Bailey Hongzhuang's ink-black phoenix eyes were filled with a trace of ridicule. The corners of her lips rose slightly, and her originally delicate and moving face became even more beautiful. The sunlight shone on her body, giving her a layer of golden glow. She looked even more beautiful. This sentence seems to be more suitable for you. Her light words were indifferent and confident, and her fair and smooth face was filled with confidence. Bailey Hongzhuang was clearly at a disadvantage, but she did not show any signs of discouragement. Su Ilyan felt even more unhappy looking at Bailey Hongzhuang. Today was her first time meeting Bailey Hongzhuang. However, she did not know why, but when she saw Bailey Hongzhuang, she could not help but feel disgusted. She knew very well that it was an emotion called jealousy. However, she could not understand. Her background and ability were clearly more powerful than Bailey Hongzhuang. Why would she be jealous? Therefore, she did not want to admit it. There was only one way to make this emotion disappear completely. She had to kill Bailey Hongzhuang. You're just an Orange Realm level 2 cultivator. How dare you talk nonsense to me? What a joke. Su Ilyan chuckled. Her cultivation was 1 level higher than Bailey Hongzhuang. Moreover, she came from a middle-sized dynasty. She would definitely be more powerful than Bailey Hongzhuang, who came from a small-sized dynasty. She only had to worry about Bailey Hongzhuang's sacred green flame palm. Other than that, she had nothing to worry about. Looking at Su Ilyan's self-righteous appearance, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyebrows flashed with a trace of impatience. Don't talk nonsense, let's fight. Listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Su Ilyan couldn't help but be surprised. In this situation, Bailey Hongzhuang should be afraid of her. However, Bailey Hongzhuang actually dared to challenge her first. Su Ilyan's face turned cold. Since you can't wait to die, I'll grant you your wish. In the next moment, Su Ilyan took a step forward. Her Orange Realm Level 3 aura instantly exploded. As if to show that she was more powerful than Bailey Hongzhuang, Su Ilyan immediately released her aura towards Bailey Hongzhuang. Although the difference in their abilities was very small and the aura had little effect, there was still some effect. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into a sneer. This Su Ilyan was really too naive. She actually used such a useless trick. Wasn't this just a joke? Bailey Hongzhuang stood motionless in the same place, letting Su Ilyan exert pressure on her. She didn't react at all. For a moment, Su Ilyan's face was somewhat ugly. Bailey Hongzhuang's actions were tantamount to mocking her stupidity. With this little bit of pressure, is it just scratching an itch? Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were filled with mockery. This cultivator from a middle-sized dynasty was really different. Su Ilyan's face turned black. At least I can still release my aura. You don't even have the right to do that. As Su Ilyan's voice fell, Bailey Hongzhuang's deep black eyes suddenly flashed with a touch of light. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips hooked into an enchanting smile as she lazily looked at Su Ilyan. If I can use my power, then what? Hee hee. Su Ilyan sneered. Are you dreaming? This Bailey Hongzhuang must have been provoked to the point of insanity, to even dare to say such words. Chapter 1269. However, in the next moment, Su Ilyan's pupils constricted. She felt a huge pressure pressing down on her, as if a small mountain was pressing down on her back. Her movements slowed down, and even the circulation of the origin energy in her body slowed down considerably. Most importantly, she felt an indescribable smell of blood spreading throughout her body. Su Ilyan looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in shock. This was impossible. Bailey Hongzhuang was only at level 2 of the Orange Realm. How could she exert such pressure on her? Under the suppression of Bailey Hongzhuang's pressure, Su Ilyan could not use her powers at level 3 of the Red Realm. She was probably weaker than Bailey Hongzhuang. This is impossible. How did you do it? Su Ilyan's heart was in turmoil. She had lived in this world for more than 10 years and she had never heard of such a thing. Looking at the situation where Su Ilyan's strength was suppressed, Bailey Hongzhuang's black phoenix eyes were filled with a trace of satisfaction. This was the first time she had used the blood aura field since she had obtained it in the Bloodland Abyss. It seemed that the effect was better than she had imagined. For a cultivator, it was very difficult to fight someone who was at a higher level. However, with the blood aura field, it was very easy for her to fight someone who was at a higher level. As long as she used the blood aura field, her opponent's powers would be suppressed. This way, the gap between the two of them would be narrowed. Thinking of this, Bailey Hongzhuang expanded the range of the blood aura field. Through this method, she could weaken her opponent's powers. This was the most powerful part of the blood aura field. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled brightly. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean it's impossible. Not far away, Fu Yeyu and the rest were planning to kill everyone. Suddenly, they felt an inexplicable pressure shrouding them. Their powers were suppressed in a short period of time, and their movements became much slower. After realizing this, Fu Yeyu and the others looked at each other in dismay. This was simply impossible. The three beasts could not help but look at Bailey Hongzhuang. After sensing this familiar aura, they knew that this was the effect of the blood aura field. This was a great help for the current situation. It seemed that it was much easier for them to end the battle quickly. What's going on? Lu Wendy's face was filled with confusion. How could such a thing happen out of nowhere? Wei Yuanqing, Fu Yeyu and the rest were confused. The strongest person in their team was level 5 of the Orange Realm. Level 5's aura, logically, should not be able to suppress them. So what was going on? So, this aura. I've never heard of such a thing. Lu Wendy looked at Bailey Hongzhuang doubtfully. This matter was too strange, it didn't conform to common sense at all. Fu Yeyu frowned. Under this aura, he could smell the faint smell of blood. This was very strange. After thinking for a moment, a thought suddenly appeared in Fu Yeyu's mind. However, when this thought appeared, he could not help but wipe it away. Chapter 1270. The Blood Abyss was one of the 3 great abysses in the Xingxian continent and was the gathering place for human sins. The Blood Qi Tower was a place that every cultivator wanted to explore. However, not every cultivator had the guts to venture into such a place that was filled with evil and danger. Furthermore, in the history of the Blood Qi Tower, the number of cultivators who had obtained the inheritance was very few. It was almost impossible to encounter one on a normal day. The Blood Qi Field was an extremely powerful inheritance. Once the Blood Qi Field was used, it could completely ignore the opponent's coercion and could even suppress the opponent's strength. This ability could be said to be heaven-defying. No matter which cultivator obtained this ability, their battle power would greatly increase. The coercion displayed by Bailey Hongzhuang was very similar to the legendary Blood Qi Field, but this was simply impossible. Could it be, this is the Blood Qi Field? Fu Yeyu could not help but look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Although he felt that the possibility of this was almost zero, he had a faint feeling that made him ask this question. Hearing Fu Yeyu's words, Su Ilian and the rest were stunned. The Blood Qi Field, what kind of powerful inheritance was that? It was said that only the most talented cultivators had the right to obtain it. Ordinary people could only look up to it. If someone were to say that Bailey Hongzhuang had obtained the Blood Qi Field, they would not believe it at all. Xiao He looked at Fu Yeyu with a pleased expression. I didn't expect you to have such good eyesight. The sudden words caused Fu Yeyu and the rest to be stunned once again. They looked at Xiao He in horror. Did they hear wrongly? This demonic beast could actually speak. Logically speaking, other than those extremely powerful demonic beasts who could transform into human form and speak, other demonic beasts should not be able to speak at all. Contracted beasts had always been able to communicate with their own masters and would never be able to communicate with other cultivators. However, they had now encountered a demonic beast that could speak. How can you speak? Wei Yuanqing was completely dumbfounded. What kind of abnormal combination had they encountered today? This young woman, who was probably even younger than them, had actually obtained the inheritance of the Blood Qi Tower. This furry, unknown demonic beast's contracted beast could actually speak. Today's trip had really broadened their horizons. Seeing Wei Yuanqing making a fuss over nothing, Xiao He looked at him with disdain. You're allowed to speak, but I'm not. Ignorant. Wei Yuanqing was about to go crazy. Was this a problem of ignorance? If it was any other cultivator, they would feel that this was simply impossible. Most importantly, he was being looked down upon by a contract beast. Fu Yeyu and the others were completely stunned. Everything that had happened today was simply unacceptable to them. Fu Yeyu's gaze landed on Bailey Hongzhuang. Xiao He's words had confirmed his guess. Bailey Hongzhuang had actually obtained the Blood Aura Field. What kind of heaven-defying talent was that? As everyone knew, in the history of the Xingxian continent, any cultivator who obtained the inheritance of the Blood Qi Tower would eventually grow into an extraordinary figure. In that case, Bailey Hongzhuang's future achievements would not be small. And they had offended a cultivator whose future was filled with limitless possibilities. Chapter 1271. If one were to say that he had not been so eager to kill Bailey Hongzhuang and the others in the past, now that he had found out about Bailey Hongzhuang's terrifying talents, the murderous intent in his heart grew even more intense. Offending a powerful enemy was absolutely terrifying. Once the other party has grown, they would all die without a burial ground. If he had known about Bailey Hongzhuang's potential earlier, he would never have chosen to make Bailey Hongzhuang an enemy. However, since this enmity has already been formed, he could only cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. No matter what, they could not allow Bailey Hongzhuang to have the chance to grow. Otherwise, once Bailey Hongzhuang has grown, they would all be in an incomparably miserable state. Su Ilyan and the others were clearly aware of this as well. Now that things have come to this, they no longer had any other choice. The battle broke out in an instant. Fu Yeyu and the others no longer dared to underestimate Bailey Hongzhuang and the others. For the sake of their future, they must kill them with all their might. Sensing the change in their opponents, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others did not delay any longer. In today's battle, it was either you die or I die. At this moment, Su Ilyan no longer dared to underestimate Bailey Hongzhuang because under the suppression of the blood chi field, the power that she could display was much weaker than Bailey Hongzhuang's. Su Ilyan suddenly took a step forward and turned into a ray of light as she charged directly towards Bailey Hongzhuang. The Yuan power within her body surged wildly as her large fist broke through the air and exploded with a sonic boom. She did not hesitate to attack Bailey Hongzhuang's face. Seeing Su Ilyan's actions, Bailey Hongzhuang was not flustered at all. When Su Ilyan's fist struck out, she met it with her own fist. Bang! Two white palms came into contact with each other. Thud, thud, thud. Following that, a figure quickly retreated a few steps. Su Ilyan's expression was extremely ugly. Initially, she had not thought much of Bailey Hongzhuang. She did not expect that after releasing the blood chi field, Bailey Hongzhuang's power would be so much stronger than hers. Faintly, she had the feeling that she was no match for Bailey Hongzhuang in the rain. Thinking of this, Su Ilyan's eyes flashed with flames of fury. This was something that she could not accept. Bailey Hongzhuang simply didn't care about what Su Ilyan was thinking. She instantly used fulgurating shadow transposition. She had never thought of Su Ilyan as a difficult opponent. She wanted to finish this battle quickly and get rid of Su Ilyan first. With a thought, Bailey Hongzhuang used the shadow shifting technique, her figure turning into a white light that directly closed the distance between her and Su Ilyan. At the same time, the glazed sword. Shadowless kill. Bailey Hongzhuang's figure was like a ghost, and with only a flash of white light, Su Ilyan's heart instinctively produced a feeling of fear. That was the fear of death. Bailey Hongzhuang's figure flashed and her figure appeared directly behind Su Ilyan. Following that, the sound of a heavy object falling suddenly rang out from behind her. Bang! Su Ilyan's figure fell heavily onto the ground, and on her neck, an extremely thin sword mark appeared quietly as blood spurted out wildly. Su Ilyan stared at Bailey Hongzhuang with wide eyes. She could not believe that in just one move, she had already died in the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang. This was simply impossible. Chapter 1272. After killing Su Ilyan, Bailey Hongzhuang didn't even look back. From the beginning to the end, she never regarded Su Ilyan as her opponent. Her strength had always been very stable. After the experience in the Bloodland Abyss, her combat effectiveness had improved again. Cultivators of the same level would never be her opponent. Su Ilyan's original strength was stronger than her, and it might take some effort. However, after using the blood chi field, Su Ilyan's strength was suppressed to be weaker than Orange Realm Level 2. In this way, it would be easy for her to kill Su Ilyan. In just a short moment, Su Ilyan died in the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang, which brought great shock to Fu Yeyu and the others. Bailey Hongzhuang's fighting speed was too amazing. In this short period of time, they had already lost a teammate. After Xia Jiqing and the others saw that Bailey Hongzhuang's fighting speed was so fast, everyone's faces couldn't help but show a smile of joy. Hongzhuang was really too powerful. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at the battlefield. Xiao He and Fu Yeyu were currently equal in strength, so there was no need to worry for the time being. Although it was difficult for Xiao Bai to deal with Lu Wendi and Wei Yuanqing, it should not be a problem for her to hold on for a while. In contrast, the pressure faced by Xia Jiqing and the others was undoubtedly a bit greater. After all, Xia Jiqing and the others were all Red Realm cultivators. Facing the same Red Realm cultivators, they still had room to play. However, there was still an Orange Realm level 1 cultivator, which caused a lot of pressure on them. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at the battlefield and had already made a decision. She had to first kill the Orange Realm level 1 cultivator and then help Xiao Bai. When Bailey Hongzhuang came to the battle circle of Xia Jiqing and the others, the Orange Realm level 1 cultivator immediately found that Bailey Hongzhuang's opponent was her. Her eyes flashed with a hint of panic. She originally planned to kill Xia Jiqing and the other Red Realm cultivators first. She didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang to be free. As a result, she was in danger. Bailey Hongzhuang's figure flew like a ghost. Everyone only felt a white light passing by their eyes. When they saw it again, Bailey Hongzhuang was already standing in front of the Orange Realm level 1 cultivator. The Orange Realm level 1 cultivator wanted to avoid Bailey Hongzhuang, but Bailey Hongzhuang was too fast and he couldn't escape. Ding! Bailey Hongzhuang didn't waste any time and the battle immediately broke out. At the same time, Xia Jiqing, Bai Junyu, Dong Fangyu, Gong Shaoqing, and Baisher were attacking 2 Red Realm level 8 and 1 Red Realm level 7 cultivators. Although Dong Fangyu and Gong Shaoqing suffered internal injuries, under the power of the blood ginseng fruit, their injuries undoubtedly recovered a lot. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu only felt that there was endless power in their bodies. Even if the other party was stronger than them, they were still brave and began to besiege without fear. The Orange Realm level 1 cultivators were simply vulnerable in front of Bailey Hongzhuang. They were also killed in a face-to-face speed. In a short time, 2 cultivators of the Sky Dynasty had fallen, and both of them died in the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang. Looking at this scene, Fu Yeyu and the others' faces became more and more ugly. Chapter 1273. Bailey Hongzhuang did not expect the effect of the blood aura to be so effective. The disparity between their strengths was reduced by the blood aura. On the contrary, their chances of winning were greatly increased. After killing another cultivator, Bailey Hongzhuang immediately went to Xiao Bai's side. Xiao Bai was facing 2 Orange Realm rank 4 cultivators alone, so she was under a lot of pressure. As contracted beasts, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's Orange Realm rank 5 cultivation levels were very high. However, as beasts, they had not mastered any martial skills. Therefore, they were undoubtedly at a disadvantage when fighting cultivators of the same level. Strangely enough, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's cultivation levels were Orange Realm rank 5 when she first met them. Until now, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's cultivation levels were still Red Realm rank 5. She wasn't the only one who didn't know the reason. Little Black and Little White also didn't know the reason. She was a little suspicious. Could it be that Little Black and Little White's cultivation was fixed? Or, could it be that they had not found a way to level up? Bailey Hongzhuang stood in front of Lu Wendi. Lu Wendi's cultivation level was Orange Realm rank 4. Under the suppression of the blood aura, his current cultivation level was on par with hers. In fact, he was slightly stronger than her. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's appearance, Lu Wendi's eyes flashed with viciousness. Bailey Hongzhuang, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. You're so ruthless. They had come to the small world as representatives of the Cosmos dynasty. In the past month, they had never suffered such a huge loss. But now, Bailey Hongzhuang had killed 2 of their teammates. It really made them hate her to the extreme. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang sneered, "If it weren't for your evil intentions, this wouldn't have happened." Lu Wendy simply didn't care about what Bailey Hongzhuang said, "Don't be complacent too early. Until the last moment, no one will know the final result." His cultivation level was 2 levels higher than Bailey Hongzhuang's. Even with the blood aura, he could still defeat Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang smirked. Her deep and charming eyes were filled with disdain. "Try it then." Lu Wende snorted coldly, and in an instant, his spirit power roared like a tiger. His figure retreated a dozen steps in a row, directly pulling away from Bailey Hongzhuang. He knew that Bailey Hongzhuang's movements were extremely strange. If he let Bailey Hongzhuang get close, it would be a disaster. Once he distanced himself from her, the situation would be different. Lu Wendy's hands kept moving and he quietly formed a complicated seal. He wanted to kill Bailey Hongzhuang in one fell swoop. As Lu Wendy formed the hand seal, a powerful force silently appeared in the world. A heart-palpitating force spread out from Qiaowen. Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, a huge axe floated in the air. At first glance, there was a terrifying sense of sharpness. It was shocking. Bailey Hongzhuang's movements were also not slow. Her white hands were constantly moving, and the complicated movements were even more dazzling. In a short period of time, a huge green flame palm appeared once again. Feeling the rapidly rising temperature around him, Lu Wendy's expression changed a little. When he saw the sacred green flame palm from afar, he did not feel it so clearly. Chapter 1274. Bailey Hongzhuang obviously did not intend to waste too much time with Lu Wendy. In the next instant, Bailey Hongzhuang's hand seals suddenly changed. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's changing hand seals again, Lu Wendy's eyes flashed with a trace of sinister and grave light. Obviously, Bailey Hongzhuang was preparing to use the strengthened sacred green flame palm. Thinking of this, Lu Wendy's heart was indescribably gloomy. Originally, Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest were already exhausted after killing the heavenly spirit bear. Even if they had consumed the energy recovery pill, their yuan qi would not be able to recover to its original state immediately. Under such circumstances, it could be said that they had a 100% chance of winning against Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest. However, after Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest consumed the blood ginseng fruit, not only did they not show any signs of insufficient yuan qi, on the contrary, their yuan qi was so abundant that it made people tremble with fear. This was a mistake that caused everlasting regret. They had never expected that Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest would stake it all on one throw. This really made them drop their glasses. With such abundant energy, it was easy for Bailey Hongzhuang to use the sacred azure flame palm again. She didn't feel the slightest difficulty. The next moment, as Bailey Hongzhuang's hand seals suddenly condensed, the cyan palm in mid-air also suddenly shrank, and only the crackling of sparks could be heard, which made people's hearts jump. However, Lu Wendy's face did not show any signs of worry. Because this move of his was also his trump card. He knew that Bailey Hongzhuang's strength was not ordinary. Once they fought, he had to display his strongest strength, otherwise, the unlucky one would be himself. Lu Wendy was also very confident in his trump card. In the past, a cultivator with a higher cultivation base than him had also died under his trump card. Bailey Hongzhuang's strength was even weaker than his. He believed that the person who would regret this time would be Bailey Hongzhuang. After all, the foundation of a medium-sized empire's cultivator was far from what a small-sized empire's cultivator could compare to. Onyx Giant Axe. Lu Wendy shouted coldly. A small-sized empire's cultivator actually dared to be so arrogant in front of them. He wanted to let the other party know how powerful they were. After hearing Lu Wendi's voice, Wei Yuanqing, Fu Yeyu and the rest who were not far away had a joyful smile appear on their faces. They had seen Lu Wendi use the onyx giant axe before and its power was extremely powerful. Even with Bailey Hongzhuang's sacred azure flame palm, the final result was still unknown. In their opinion, Lu had a better chance of winning. Onyx flame palm. In the next moment, the two's to Hongzha's attack, in the next moment, the two attacks collided in midair. Bang! The to Hongzhuang's twos of course, to be to Hongzhuang's a moment of moments. Smoke and dust rose, yellow sand splashed, and even the ground became shaky. Xia Jiqing and the others who were fighting not far away could not help but look at Bailey Hongzhuang and the others after seeing such an earth-shattering collision. Because the power of this collision was too terrifying. Suddenly, Gong Shaoqing and the others' faces changed. Not good, the ground is unstable, I'm afraid it's going to collapse. As Gong Shaoqing's voice fell, everyone's face suddenly changed. They immediately ignored the fight and flew away, avoiding the collapsing ground. In an instant, sand and stones flew and the ground trembled. Chapter 1275. The faces of Fu Yeyu and the others suddenly changed. None of them thought that the confrontation between Lu Wendi and Bailey Hongzhuang would have such a huge impact. One by one, the figures flew away at lightning speed. Only when they were some distance away did they stop and look at the cloud of dust behind them. Rumble. The situation was as everyone thought. The ground beside the cliff quickly turned into gravel and fell into the abyss. Even after falling, there was no echo, showing the horror of the abyss. At this moment, the figures of Bailey Hongzhuang and Lu Wendi appeared in everyone's mind. After all, the two were in the center of the crack in the ground. Bailey Hongzhuang and Lu Wendi were not beside them. At the thought of this, Xia Jiqing and the others couldn't help but feel nervous and worried. They immediately shouted, Hongzhuang! Boom! The yellow sand and smoke gradually dissipated, and the silhouettes of Bailey Hongzhuang and Lu Wendi appeared in everyone's sight. However, after seeing this scene, everyone's eyes couldn't help but be filled with horror. They saw that Bailey Hongzhuang and Lu Wendi were on the edge of the cliff. The two were in a stalemate. Obviously, they wanted to push each other down the abyss. Bailey Hongzhuang, go to hell. Lu Wendi grabbed Bailey Hongzhuang's clothes and kept pushing Bailey Hongzhuang. He also didn't think that the confrontation between the two of them would cause such a big change. The onyx giant axe that he had always been proud of couldn't defeat Bailey Hongzhuang. However, under this blow, Bailey Hongzhuang was also injured, and her injury was slightly more serious than his. As long as he pushed Bailey Hongzhuang down the cliff, then they could win this battle. Bailey Hongzhuang, this woman, was indeed a heaven-defying existence. Obviously, her cultivation was not as strong as theirs, but her existence determined the result of this battle. Hongzhuang. Master. After Xia Jiqing and the others knew Lu Wendi's intention, they immediately rushed over. No matter what, they absolutely could not allow such a thing to happen. At the same time, Fu Yeyu and the others were once again stunned by the three beasts' greetings. Originally, they only thought that Baisher was Bailey Hongzhuang's contracted beast, but at that moment, the three beasts had clearly addressed Bailey Hongzhuang as their master. Could it be that Bailey Hongzhuang had contracted three demonic beasts? When this thought surfaced, Fu Yeyu and the others felt that it was a little ridiculous. This was simply an impossible thing. However, they hadn't heard wrongly just now. For a moment, Fu Yeyu and the others felt that it was a little funny. How could there be so many strange things in this world? Moreover, it happened to the same woman. This was too strange. However, Fu Yeyu and the others' reaction was also very fast. As early as in the previous battle, they had understood how much impact Bailey Hongzhuang had on this battle. If Bailey Hongzhuang was still there, they might even have the possibility of being defeated. However, once Bailey Hongzhuang disappeared, the pressure of the blood chi field would naturally not exist. In this way, it was extremely easy for them to solve these cultivators. Therefore, Fu Yeyu and the others immediately blocked Xia Jiqing and the others who were ready to help. At this critical moment, they couldn't let Xia Jiqing and the others save Bailey Hongzhuang. Chapter 1276. Go away. Xia Jiqing looked at the guy in front of her angrily and rushed directly to Bailey Hongzhuang. If Hongzhuang was pushed into the abyss by Lu Wendi, she didn't even dare to think about the result. Your opponent is me. The cultivator at the 8th level of the Red Realm stood in front of Xia Jiqing. You want to save her? No way. The three beasts also rushed over. They couldn't let their master be hurt. At the same time, Fu Yeyu and Wei Yuanqing also stopped them. They had a certain understanding of Lu Wendi's strength. Lu Wendi's strength had always been very strong, and the strength of cultivators of the same level could not be compared with him. Not to mention that Bailey Hongzhuang was a woman, her cultivation was weaker than Lu Wendi. Therefore, if Lu Wendi wanted to push Bailey Hongzhuang down, there would be no accident. What they needed to do was to buy time for Lu Wendi. That way, they would win this battle. Looking at the actions of the cultivators of the Sky Dynasty, everyone was furious. These guys were too despicable. Bailey Hongzhuang was in a deadlock with Lu Wendi, constantly pushing each other. Your strength can't be compared with mine, go to hell. Lu Wendi's eyes were filled with a trace of pride. He could already imagine that after this battle, he would be the hero of the Sky Dynasty team. Behind her was the abyss, and Bailey Hongzhuang could feel a chill coming from the abyss. The wind was whistling, her hair was swaying in the wind, and her body was shaking. If she was not careful, she would be buried in the abyss. However, in such a situation, Bailey Hongzhuang's dark eyes still did not have a trace of emotion. On the contrary, there was a terrible calmness. Bailey Hongzhuang's hands also tightly grasped Lu Wendi's clothes, and her delicate and beautiful face was filled with a trace of madness. Since we are going to die, let's die together. As soon as her voice fell, Bailey Hongzhuang pulled Lu Wendi closer to the cliff. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's crazy actions, Lu Wendi was dumbfounded. He wanted to push Bailey Hongzhuang into the bottomless abyss, but he didn't want to be buried with Bailey Hongzhuang. However, Bailey Hongzhuang did not give Lu Wendi the slightest chance to retreat. The yuan power in her body gushed out as she executed the jade body refinement technique. A sparkling and translucent jade color climbed up her arms. In the next moment, Bailey Hongzhuang exerted force with both hands. With her right foot as the center, she spun her body in through Lu Wendi, who was in front of her. Down. Die. Bailey Hongzhuang shouted coldly, and the power in her body exploded to the extreme. Lu Wendi didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang's strength to suddenly become so terrifying. It was completely beyond his expectations. By the time he reacted, it was already too late. His body fell off the cliff uncontrollably, and his face instantly turned pale. Once he fell, there would be no hope for him. At the last moment, Lu Wendi grabbed Bailey Hongzhuang's clothes, as if he was grabbing the last life-saving straw, and did not let go. In Lu Wendi's mirror lake, Xia Jiqing and the others found that Bailey Hongzhuang and Lu Wendi's figures had disappeared from the cliff. Hongzhuang. Xia Jiqing's eyes quickly turned red, and she screamed heartbreakingly. Chapter 1277. Master. Xiao He, Xiao Bai and Baisher were completely enraged at this moment. Their crazy attacks continued to attack Fu Yeyu and the others. This group of damn guys dared to let their master fall into the abyss. Fu Yeyu and the others were also stunned. According to their thinking, with Lu Wendi's strength, there was absolutely no problem pushing Bailey Hongzhuang down the cliff. None of them thought that Lu Wendi would die together with Bailey Hongzhuang. It seemed that the strength of Bailey Hongzhuang really could not be underestimated. Just one Bailey Hongzhuang, and their team had lost 3 cultivators. According to their thinking, this was simply an impossible thing, but it just happened. Although they felt pity for Lu Wendi, no matter what, Lu Wendi being able to solve Bailey Hongzhuang was a great merit for them. At the very least, they would be able to obtain the final victory in this competition. For a time, Xia Jiqing's women looked at Fu Yeyu and the others with hatred. They could not wait to tear this group of guys into pieces. Feeling the gaze of Xia Jiqing and the others, the expression of Fu Yeyu and the others also changed a bit. The appearance of the other party was really a bit scary. Did Hongzhuang really fall like this? Xia Jiqing looked at the edge of the cliff unwillingly. She could not believe that Hongzhuang had fallen like this. The faces of Gong Shaoqing and the others were also ugly to the extreme. This was something that none of them were willing to accept. However, when they were picking the blood ginseng fruit, they also looked at the edge of the cliff. The bottom was full of clouds and they could not see the bottom. Once a cultivator fell into it, there was almost no chance of survival. Fu Yeyu looked at Xia Jiqing and the others mockingly, "She can't survive, you should give up." As soon as these words came out, Gong Shaoqing looked at Fu Yeyu angrily. If it were not for this group of hateful guys, Hongzhuang would not have fallen at all. "All of you go to hell." Xiao Hei's eyes flashed with blood-red ferocity. It had waited for so many years in the Chaos Ring before its master finally appeared. However, it had now lost its master because of these fellows. This was something that it could not accept at all. It had to kill these guys. Hearing this, Fu Yiyu sneered, "Since your master is already dead, I'll send you all to accompany him in death." Wei Yuanqing and the others also revealed smiles on their faces. Although their team had suffered great losses today, their lives were not in danger. "Without Bailey Hongzhuang, you bunch of trash can just wait to die." However, just as Fu Yeyu and the others were feeling complacent, a cold and familiar voice suddenly rang out. "It's too early for you to be happy." With this cold voice falling, the originally pale faces of Xia Jiqing and the others instantly filled with a trace of vigor, and their eyes were full of expectation as they looked at the edge of the cliff. Then, under everyone's gaze, a white and smooth arm appeared on the cliff. Then, a white and otherworldly figure appeared before everyone once again. Bailey Hongzhuang's figure leapt up, standing firmly on the ground. Patting the dust off her body, a delicate and elegant smile bloomed on that charming face, gorgeous and beautiful. Lu Wendi's strength had also exceeded her expectations. The power that erupted in the face of death was even more terrifying, causing her to spend a lot of effort to kick that guy off the cliff. Chapter 1278. When everyone saw the ethereal figure again, everyone had different expressions, some were surprised and some were depressed. Bailey Hongzhuang's white dress was stained with a bit of dust, vaguely revealing a bit of embarrassment, but the confidence lingering on her pretty face did not show the slightest bit of embarrassment. On the contrary, there was a kind of charm that stood out from the masses. The 3 beasts, as well as Xia Jiqing and the others, had an indescribable excitement on their faces. This feeling of joy was no different from rising from hell to heaven. Hongzhuang was always blessed with good fortune. This was such a pleasant surprise. Fu Yeyu and the others looked at Bailey Hongzhuang as if they had seen a ghost. This result was really unexpected. So to say, not only did Lu Wendy not push Bailey Hongzhuang down the cliff, but he fell down himself. How was this possible? Fu Yeyu and the others did not believe it in their hearts. With Lu Wendy's strength, this was simply impossible. However, the facts clearly appeared in front of them, and the irrefutable facts made them unable to refute. This is really a ghost. Wei Yuanqing looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in shock. He could not understand how Bailey Hongzhuang did this. According to the situation just now, Bailey Hongzhuang clearly fell down. Who would have thought that Bailey Hongzhuang's luck would be so good that she could climb up after falling down? At this moment, Fu Yeyu and the others all had a feeling of fear in their hearts. This Bailey Hongzhuang seemed to have the protection of a deity, shrouding their hearts in a layer of despair. Xia Jiqing looked at Wei Yuanqing and the others proudly. Now, you all just wait for your death. As soon as these words came out, Fu Yeyu and the others' faces changed. After the fall of 3 cultivators, their advantage was no longer obvious. On the contrary, the power shown by Bailey Hongzhuang made them feel that it was difficult to continue. One after another, their companions died at the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang, which was a great blow to their morale. Fu Yeyu, Wei Yuanqing, and the others looked at each other. In this short moment, they had already thought of a plan. The next moment, the practitioners of the Cosmos dynasty fled in all directions without hesitation. They no longer had the confidence to continue fighting. Running away was the best option. Seeing the cultivators of the Sky dynasty choose to run away after seeing Bailey Hongzhuang, Gong Shaoqing and the others were secretly speechless. Hongzhuang had scared the hell out of them. Xiao Bai and Xiao He were the first to rush up to chase after them after they reacted. At the same time, Bailey Hongzhuang, Xia Jiqing, and the others were not slow either. They quickly chased after them. If you don't remove the roots when cutting weeds, they'll grow again when the spring breeze blows. Today, the enmity between them and the Sky dynasty had been thoroughly established, and it would be best to settle it once and for all. After experiencing this, Xia Jiqing had already hated the cultivators of the Sky dynasty to the bone. She just wanted to kill them. Gong Shaoqing and Dongfang Yu did not chase after them. Their injuries had not healed yet. If it was a competition of speed, they were not the opponents of the other party. What's more, it was enough to have Xia Jiqing and the others chasing after them. After a long while, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others returned to their original place. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu's faces were full of excitement, and they were holding a qianquan bag in their hands. Chapter 1279. Xia Jiqing's pretty face was full of excitement as she and Bai Junyu chased after the 7th level Red Realm cultivator. Originally, with their strength, it was not easy to deal with a cultivator at the 7th level of the Red Realm. However, in the situation of fleeing, the cultivator at the 7th level of the Red Realm was not able to exert his full strength and finally died at the hands of her and Bai Junyu. Bailey Hongzhuang was also holding a qianquan bag in her hand. The other party's morale had already been defeated by them, so it was not difficult to kill them. Xiao He, Xiao Bai and Baisher also came back, but the 3 beasts were obviously not so happy. Damn it, Fu Yeyu ran away. Xiao He's eyes were full of anger. Fu Yeyu is too despicable, he used his teammates as a shield and ran away by himself. Xiao Bai and Baisher did not speak, but from their expressions, it could be seen that they were depressed. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang quickly understood the situation at the time. She had a feeling that Fu Yeyu was the smartest person among the cultivators of the Sky dynasty. However, this guy even used his teammates, it could be seen that he was not a good person. Forget it, he ran away. Bailey Hongzhuang's face was filled with a faint smile as she comforted the 3 beasts. In any case, their harvest today was very rich. Yes, he can't do anything by himself. Maybe he will die in the hands of the monsters or other cultivators before he gets out of the forest. Xia Jiqing said with a smile. In the small world, the cultivators who were alone were always at a disadvantage, and if they were not careful, they would lose their lives. Listening to the words of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, the faces of the three beasts looked better. It's getting late, let's continue. Bailey Hongzhuang said slowly after looking at the situation of everyone. It took a lot of time to deal with the heavenly spirit bear before, and then it took even more time to meet the cultivators of the Sky Dynasty. They needed to rush to the city before nightfall. If they didn't hurry, it would be too late. Now, they had consumed a lot of energy, and their bodies were covered with wounds of various sizes. They had to return to the city to rest as soon as possible. Everyone nodded. Fighting 2 battles in a row was really tiring. Previously, when they were fighting, their mental strength was tense, so they did not think about it. Now that they had relaxed a little, they felt an indescribable sense of exhaustion. Dong Fangyu and Gong Xiaoqing felt it the most. Their internal injuries were not something that could be healed in a short period of time, but they had already recovered a lot. However, they had to find a safe place to absorb the abundant energy in their bodies as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would affect them greatly in the long run. Everyone resumed their journey. The 3 beasts circled around Bailey Hongzhuang, their big, bright eyes sparkling with concern. Master, how are your injuries? Bailey Hongzhuang was also injured in the fight with Lu Wendi. Bailey Hongzhuang waved her hand slightly. The injury is not very serious, it's not a big deal. As she spoke, Bailey Hongzhuang directly took out a healing pill from her Qianquan bag and swallowed it. She did not expect Lu Wendi's martial arts to be so powerful, beyond her expectations. Chapter 1280. Xia Jiqing and the others also looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with concern. Now, Bailey Hongzhuang was the backbone of their team. Hongzhuang, is your injury really okay? Xia Jiqing was worried. In the previous collision of martial arts, even if they were spectators, they could clearly feel the horror of the energy. What's more, Hongzhuang was in the center of the energy storm. Coupled with the fact that she almost fell off the cliff, they could faintly see Bailey Hongzhuang's pale face. Needless to say, they could also know that Hongzhuang must be injured. Looking at the concern on everyone's faces, Bailey Hongzhuang's heart warmed, and the smile on her lips softened. Don't worry, this injury will not be a problem. When everyone saw Bailey Hongzhuang's indifferent and confident appearance, they were relieved. Hongzhuang herself was a genius doctor. Since Hongzhuang said it was okay, then the injury should not be too serious. However, they had to rest for a while in the next city. Healing was one thing, and absorbing the energy of the blood ginseng fruit was another. Baisher walked beside Bailey Hongzhuang, and the aura of the Beast King filled the air. On ordinary days, he restrained his aura in order to let his master have a better experience and gain points. Now that his master was exhausted, in order to reach the city early, he released his aura. In this way, there would be no monsters attacking them. As long as they did not encounter cultivators from other dynasties, they did not need to worry along the way. Because of the injury, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' speed was a bit slower than before. Fortunately, there were no monsters along the way, so their speed was not slow. In the distance, Fu Yeyu looked at Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, and the hatred in his eyes burned his whole body. He never thought that such a thing would happen to him. As the leader of the medium-sized dynasties, the Sky Dynasty had always believed that they could get good results in the assessment. Ordinary teams were not their opponents at all, unless they met a large dynasty team. Fortunately, they hadn't encountered any teams from large empires in the past month or so. However, who would have thought that they would fail like this? Furthermore, they were defeated by a team from a small empire. This was something that should have been impossible, but it had happened. All his previous confidence seemed to have turned into a joke. Before today, they were the high-spirited team of the Cosmos Empire. However, in just one battle, all of his teammates had fallen. He was the only one left alive. He could imagine what would happen to him in the following days in this small world. Fu Yeyu's eyes were fixed on Bailey Hongzhuang. If it wasn't for Bailey Hongzhuang, he wouldn't have ended up in such a state. No matter what, he had to get his revenge. Fu Yeyu clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles turned white. It could be seen how much strength he had used. Revenge was a dish best served cold. He would definitely find a chance to take revenge. Now that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were obviously heading to the city in front, he could not be discovered. He could only go somewhere else. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others continued to move forward, not noticing that there was a hateful gaze staring at them from afar. In fact, when Fu Yeyu had escaped, Bailey Hongzhuang had already mentally prepared herself. Chapter 1281. Night slowly fell, and after Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' non-stop journey, they finally successfully arrived at the city. Fortunately, there were no surprises or dangers along the way. After arriving at the city, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They had experienced a lot of twists and turns today. If they were to do it again, they would really be exhausted. Her delicate jade-like face was filled with a charming smile. Bailey Hongzhuang's voice was light and gentle. Everyone, find a room to rest first. Absorb the energy of the blood ginseng fruit as soon as possible and improve your strength. The energy of the blood ginseng fruit was very strong. If it were not for the medicinal pills, they were likely to directly explode and die. However, even with the medicinal pills, this situation could not be suppressed for long. They must absorb it as soon as possible. This was a good opportunity for them to improve their strength. Gong Xiaoqing and the others nodded, their faces quietly filled with a trace of seriousness and excitement. For the blood ginseng fruit, they had walked through the gates of hell today. Now that they were back, they naturally had to work hard to improve their strength. We will work hard. Everyone chuckled. Hongzhuang, your injury has to recover as soon as possible. Xia Jiqing said with concern. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly, don't worry, it will be fine in a few days. Immediately afterward, everyone walked into the house. In the next few days, they would be in retreat in the house. When the cultivators of Xianming City saw Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, their eyes lit up. This was because the appearance of the cultivators of this dynasty was extremely outstanding. The appearance of cultivators had always been better than ordinary cultivators, but the cultivators of this team were really natural beauties, which was very rare. From the previous situation of this group of cultivators, it was obvious that they had gone through a battle before. It could be seen from their dusty appearance. Once a cultivator was injured, their strength would be greatly reduced. If they wanted to make a move, this was an excellent opportunity. For a time, many cultivators' hearts were alive. They were just worried that other cultivators would have the same idea, so they had not made a move. Many cultivators only wanted to wait a little longer. If there was still no movement, they might be able to make a move. The first thing Bailey Hongzhuang did after returning to her room was to check her injuries. Apart from her internal injuries, she also had some external injuries. The internal injuries could only be slowly nursed back to health, but the external injuries needed to be treated with medicine. After applying the medicine, Bailey Hongzhuang placed the food in front of the three beasts and said, I'll go into seclusion first. The three beasts nodded. As Bailey Hongzhuang entered a state of cultivation, the three beasts frowned. They were very dissatisfied with their performance today. They actually caused their master to be injured. I'm still too weak. Xiao Bai furrowed her brows, her large, bright eyes filled with dissatisfaction. If they were strong enough, then such a problem would not have occurred. I'd better increase my strength as soon as possible. White Lion immediately picked up the demon crystal and ate it. It felt that it was getting closer and closer to breaking through. Today's battle had made it realize how weak it was. If its strength didn't increase, it wouldn't be able to keep up with its master's footsteps. Chapter 1282. Xiao He and Xiao Bai looked at each other when they saw how hard-working White Lion was. Their eyes were filled with helplessness. At least White Lion knew how to increase his powers. However, the two of them had not slacked off in their cultivation during this period of time. However, for some unknown reason, their cultivation had remained stagnant. They could not help but feel discouraged. Xiao Bai, why do you think we can't increase our powers? Xiao He had a bitter look on her face. She had always wanted to be her master's right-hand man and protect her. However, they could not increase their powers now. Although they could still be of some help for now, once master's powers increase again, they would be of no use. When she thought of this, she could not accept it at all. Xiao Bai had a bitter look on her face as well. I don't know either. This is just too strange. This feeling was as if some kind of seal had sealed away their powers. It was just too strange. We can't go on like this. We have to think of a way to increase our powers. Xiao Bai stomped her feet angrily. If their powers could increase, Master would not have been injured today. Xiao He and Xiao Bai looked at each other. The two beasts then looked helpless. During this period of time, they had tried many methods but to no avail. It was really depressing. White Lion munched on a few demon crystals. Suddenly, a familiar feeling spread from within his body. White Lion looked excitedly at Xiao He and Xiao Bai. I'm about to begin my breakthrough. Once Master has left her closed-door cultivation, please inform her for me. Hearing White Lion's words, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's eyes flashed with excitement. Then, the two beasts saw White Lion enter closed-door cultivation. Although it was said to be closed-door cultivation, it was actually just sleeping. After a brief moment of excitement, Xiao He and Xiao Bai could not help but sigh. White Lion had broken through again, but their cultivation levels had remained stagnant. Back then, how great was the gap between their powers and White Lion's. However, a year had passed and White Lion's powers were constantly closing in on theirs. After a period of time, White Lion's strength would surpass theirs. This was too worrying. When they thought of this, Xiao He and Xiao Bai stopped talking and began to cultivate together. Regardless of the reason why their strength had stagnated, they absolutely could not give up on cultivation. Bailey Hongzhuang, who was in seclusion, had no idea what Xiao He and Xiao Bai were thinking. At this moment, she was meticulously circulating the Demon Summoning Sutra. Along with the circulation of the cultivation technique, the abundant energy in her body also circulated in circles, constantly refining the energy, refining the impurities, and turning them into a part of her body. The energy of the blood ginseng fruit was gradually being refined, and the energy in Bailey Hongzhuang's dantian was also constantly growing. Silence was restored in the room. Only the breathing of Bailey Hongzhuang and the three demonic beasts could be heard. At the same time, Xia Jiqing and the others in the 4 rooms near Bailey Hongzhuang were also circulating the cultivation technique, absorbing the energy of the blood ginseng fruit. As they circulated the cultivation technique, they discovered how rich the energy of the blood ginseng fruit was. A steady stream of energy was injected into their dantian and they only felt that their strength was rapidly and steadily increasing. This kind of feeling was really too pleasantly surprised. Before this, they had never felt such a rapid improvement. Chapter 1283. The cultivators in Xianming City waited for Bailey Hongzhuang and the others to make a move after seeing them enter the house. They were all cultivators who had experienced many battles. Therefore, just by looking at the embarrassing appearance of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others, they could see that they were fighting with cultivators and not wicked beasts. Since Bailey Hongzhuang and the others could come back alive, it meant that they had killed the opponent's team. In this way, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others should have a lot of treasures and points in their Qianquan bags. Most importantly, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were now exhausted and injured. If they made a move in this situation, they would definitely win. Everyone's eyes fell on the closed door of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others from time to time, only thinking about whether they should make a move. However, just as some of the cultivators made up their minds to make a move, suddenly, the primary energy in the air seemed to be attracted to the closed door. Seeing this scene, the cultivators in Xianming City could not help but be stunned for a moment. Someone was about to break through. Everyone looked at each other. They did not expect that a cultivator would break through under such circumstances. It was really good luck to break through after a big battle. After Bai Junyu used his cultivation method to absorb the energy of the blood ginseng fruit, he felt that his aura was constantly growing and soon reached the edge of a breakthrough. Boom! A sound exploded in Bai Junyu's mind, and he broke through the barrier of the breakthrough in an instant. Level 5 of the Red Realm. In a short time, Bai Junyu completed the breakthrough, which was impossible under normal circumstances. However, after the blood ginseng fruit helped him break through to level 5 of the Red Realm, there was still a huge amount of energy. He continued to use his cultivation method to enrich the primary energy in his dantian. This is the aura of breaking through to level 5 of the Red Realm. I didn't expect this person to break through so quickly. After feeling the energy, the cultivators in Xianming City had already judged the strength of the other party. Breaking through was a very normal thing for cultivators. However, the speed of this cultivator's breakthrough was a little surprising. A cultivator at the 5th level of the Red Realm was not enough to stop them from attacking. After a short consideration, they decided to continue. At this moment, there was another surge of energy, but this time the person who broke through was Xia Jiqing. Xia Jiqing's face was serious, her eyes were closed, and she was meticulously absorbing the energy in her body. Previously, under the terrifying and enormous medicinal strength of the blood ginseng fruit, she was already unable to withstand it. Now that she could finally absorb this energy in peace, she had to cherish every bit of this energy to increase her strength. Boom! There was also an explosion in her mind, and a smile appeared on Xia Jiqing's face. 5th level of the Red Realm. Another cultivator at the 5th level of the Red Realm appeared. At the same time, 2 cultivators had broken through to the 5th level of the Red Realm, which made the onlookers' expressions change. One cultivator breaking through could be said to be a coincidence, but 2 cultivators breaking through at the same time was a little strange. Many teams from small dynasties had already given up their plans. The 2 cultivators at the 5th level of the Red Realm were not weak. Since it wasn't a guaranteed win, they weren't willing to take the risk. Chapter 1284. However, what happened next completely stunned everyone. They looked at the 5 rooms in shock and did not know what to say. Dongfang Yu and Gong Shaoqing's internal injuries gradually recovered under the effect of the blood ginseng fruit, and the remaining energy was continuously injected into their dantian. Under the infusion of this surging and abundant energy, their strength was also rapidly improving. Boom! Gong Shaoqing was the first to break through to the 6th level of the Red Realm. Since coming to the small world, he had been looking forward to improving his strength. After this period of hard work, he was not far from breaking through to the 6th level of the Red Realm. Now with the blood ginseng fruit, he directly broke through. Boom! Dongfang Yu followed closely behind and broke through to the 6th level of the Red Realm. In the past, his strength had always been slightly lower than Gong Xiaoqing's, but after meeting Hong Zhuang, he began to put all his thoughts on cultivation. Perhaps he just wanted to close the distance between them. For the first time in his life, he liked a woman wholeheartedly, but he found that he was indeed unable to reach her. Even though he knew that it was impossible, he still wanted to improve himself. 2 people broke through to the 6th level of the Red Realm in a row, and the cultivators in Xianming City were shocked. What the hell was this? There were only 5 cultivators in the team of this small empire. Not long after returning to the room, 4 people broke through one after another. They had never encountered such a thing. My God, which empire's team is this? How did they break through at the same time? In my opinion, they must have obtained some kind of treasure. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to break through at the same time. I don't know what kind of treasure it is. These people are too lucky. In a short time, everyone had already confirmed their guess. Although they were very envious, from the situation, it was obvious that the other party had taken it. Even if they attacked now, the treasure would not be able to be taken back, so it was useless. At this moment, all the cultivators had completely given up their plans. Originally, they had planned to take advantage of the other party's serious injury to hit them when they were down. Now, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were obviously not easy to bully. Since it was not the best time and the treasure had been taken by them, it was meaningless for them to attack again. Boom! Bai Junyu had broken through from the 5th level of the Red Realm to the 6th level of the Red Realm. This delightful breakthrough speed made him reveal a big smile. The effect of the blood ginseng fruit was really too good. His strength had already increased by 2 levels, but he still hadn't completely refined the energy. Boom! Xia Jiqing's speed was not slow at all. Her cultivation talent was not bad, coupled with her constant efforts during this period of time, a breakthrough was expected. Boom! Boom! Gong Xiaoqing and Dongfang Yu broke through once again. Both of their hearts were boiling. It was true that riches and honor came from danger. If they had obediently given the blood ginseng fruit to the cultivators of the Cosmos dynasty, they would not have made the breakthrough. This terrifying breakthrough speed attracted the attention of all the cultivators in Xianming City because this speed was simply too shocking. Chapter 1285. What kind of treasure did this small dynasty's team get? The breakthrough speed is so heaven-defying, and the 4 of them broke through at the same time. It's really weird. This kind of breakthrough speed is really enviable. Everyone's eyes were red with envy. Normally, it would take a lot of time to raise one's cultivation level, but they could directly save so much time. How could they not be envious? What's more, in this small world, strength was the most important. Everyone was trying their best to improve their strength, but the other side improved so easily. It was really annoying. At this time, many cultivators also noticed the room that had been silent. There were a total of 5 cultivators in this dynasty, and 4 of them had broken through 2 levels in succession. However, this room had been silent, which was a bit strange. Many people remembered the Bailey Hongzhuang in this room. That peerless beauty that could topple a city was really unforgettable. There has been no movement in this room. It seems that the aptitude of this cultivator is very poor. How can everyone break through so much? It's already very good that this team can have such a big improvement. Everyone seemed to have found a breakthrough, and the dissatisfaction in their hearts was expressed through this breakthrough. In any case, at least there was one person who could make them find psychological balance. However, just as everyone was ridiculing him, a suction force that was even stronger than any of the previous suction forces emanated from the room. The spirit power in the surrounding air seemed to be boiling and rushed madly into the room that had been silent. Such an attractive force made everyone stunned. They suddenly looked at each other and their faces became very interesting. This attractive force is stronger than the previous one. Is this woman also going to break through? Everyone looked at the room with astonishment. The smile on their faces had gradually disappeared and was replaced by a deep shock. Bailey Hongzhuang continued to refine the energy in her body. She also felt the aura of Xia Jiqing and the others breaking through. She couldn't help but feel happy for them. The 5 blood ginseng fruits had made a great contribution to their team. In one day, the strength of their team had improved a lot. The Orange Realm and the Red Realm were 2 different stages. The higher the cultivation, the more energy needed to break through. Therefore, her breakthrough speed was naturally not as fast as Xia Jiqing and the others. However, she had made a certain improvement when she was cultivating in the Tiangang sect. Now, with the power of the blood ginseng fruit, she could also go up a level. However, she always paid more attention to the stability of her foundation. It was precisely because of this that when her aura reached the critical point of a breakthrough, she did not rush to break through. Instead, she suppressed it slightly in order to stabilize her foundation. As the head of an aristocratic family in her previous life, she was very clear about the importance of having a solid foundation. Only with a solid foundation could one go further on the path of cultivation in the future. Boom! Bailey Hongzhuang finally broke through to the 3rd level of the Orange Realm. Her aura was even more powerful than before. After feeling the strength of this aura, the cultivators who had been mocking Bailey Hongzhuang for not being able to break through shut their mouths at this moment. Chapter 1286. At this moment, all the cultivators in Xianming City were speechless. Although they did not know which dynasty Bailey Hongzhuang was from, it was undeniable that Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest had gone out. There would be cultivators breaking through in the city from time to time, but those were rare cases. It was the first time they had seen a team breaking through together, and not just by one rank. That night, many cultivators were curiously watching the movements of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others. They just wanted to know what kind of realm their strength could reach. Compared to the shock of the cultivators in Xianming City, Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest did not know how much shock they had caused to others. They were still in seclusion, focusing all their attention on cultivation. The 2 consecutive battles had given them a deeper understanding of cultivation, and at the same time, they had a better understanding of their martial skills. Every battle was an extremely rich experience. As long as they could absorb this experience, it would be of great help to them. 3 days later, when Bailey Hongzhuang opened her eyes, she felt refreshed. Her injuries had completely healed, and she was at her peak. Seeing that Bailey Hongzhuang had exited her cultivation state, Xiao He and Xiao Bai immediately jumped to Bailey Hongzhuang's side, their faces filled with joy. Congratulations, Master, on breaking through. Bailey Hongzhuang's face was filled with a bright smile. The effect of the blood ginseng fruit is amazing. It's even better than the blood ginseng fruit in the outside world. Even she was extremely amazed by this. She was already at Orange Realm level 2. Even if the effect of the blood ginseng fruit was amazing, she could only break through to Orange Realm level 4 at most. However, now that she had broken through to Orange Realm level 5, such a breakthrough in strength was too shocking. The origin energy in this small world is twice as rich as the outside world. The blood ginseng fruit has always been growing here, so it absorbs more origin energy than the blood ginseng fruit in the outside world. Naturally, the effect is stronger. After hearing Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Xiao He and Xiao Bai immediately understood the crux of the matter. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. This small world is indeed a good place. Thinking of this, Bailey Hongzhuang could not help but look at Baisher. Speaking of which, White Lion was the greatest contributor. Seeing that Bailey Hongzhuang was looking at Baisher, Xiao He spoke up. Baisher reached a state of breakthrough after eating a few demon crystals. He is now in a deep sleep. Bailey Hongzhuang's black phoenix eyes were filled with a hint of understanding. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. The last time Baisher had broken through, he had also fallen into a deep sleep. However, he did not know how long Baisher would be asleep for. Have Jiqing and the others come out? Bailey Hongzhuang asked. When she was in seclusion, she did not know what had happened outside. If Jiqing and the others came out, then they could continue on their journey. Now that they were much stronger than before, they would be able to hunt demon beasts more easily if they went to the forest again. Xiao Bai shook her head and said, they haven't come out yet, so it should take them a little longer. I see. Speaking of which, her cultivation level was very high, so the speed at which she refined energy was relatively fast. In comparison, the speed of Xia Jiqing and the others was a little slower. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.